continue to push students and close achievement gaps. Our athletics programs are also leading the way. Our girls basketball team won a state championship and our cheer team won a national championship. Go Bulls!
Bloomingdale High is leading the way!
My name is Chris Matthews, and I am an ESE teacher here at Franklin Middle Magnet School. I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade math. So the aspects that I enjoy most about being in the STEP program is, number one, we have a phenomenal cohort, very diverse. The teachers teach across all grade levels, K through 12, and the experience that they all bring to the room, even though we're new teachers, all new to ESE, we share our lifelong experiences both in and out of the classroom with each other, and that helps us to grow better and meaningful classes. I love the most about my job at Franklin is working with the kids. It can be trying, but that's ESE. And the reward at the end, particularly this time of the year, at the end of testing, to see their faces just light up after seeing how well that they've done, it makes the struggle all the more worth it. What would I tell someone that's interested in coming to ESE? Patience and passion. Make those your watchwords. Like I said before, there are going to be some trying days, and that's okay. The genuine care that you have for kids will come through. What I have found with these kids is they don't care what you know until they know that you care. And as long as you show that genuine concern and that love, despite their disability, you will be rewarded in the end.
I'm Jessica Vaughn, Chair of the Hillsborough County School Board. You're watching Hillsborough Schools TV, and together we're preparing students for life. I'm Jessica Vaughn, Chair of the Hillsborough County School Board. I want to welcome you to Hillsborough County Public Schools. We serve more than 200,000 students, including children starting with our early learning programs and continuing with adults through our workforce programs.
I'm Karen Perez, the school board's vice chair. Our district is the 7th largest in America, and our team is made up of 24,000 people working at close to 250 sites across the county. Nuestro distrito es el 7º más grande de los Estados Unidos y el 3º más grande del estado de Florida. Nuestro equipo está formado por 24 millones de personas que trabajan en cerca de 250 escuelas en todo el condado.
Our district is diverse and dedicated. Our board meetings are held in our board auditorium on select Tuesdays at 4 p.m. The best way to serve our students and our community is to involve you, the public, in what we do.
You are welcome to meet or email any of our board members and follow our district on social media. School board meetings are covered live by Hillsborough Schools TV on Spectrum 635 and Frontier Channel 32.
Meetings are also streamed live on our website at hillsboroughschools.org. Closed captioning is provided on all broadcasts, and past meetings are available in our online archive.
We are interested in what the public has to say. We'll include time for audience comments before we address our business items. Our agenda and any supporting materials can be viewed online in advance. They are posted 7 days before each meeting on our website at hillsboroughschools.org.
Our vision is preparing students for life, and that means all students every day. Todos los estudiantes, todos los días. Thank you for your interest in education. With your help, we are making decisions that shape our community's future.
Yeah? Okay, there we go. Thank you. The board meeting of August 26, 2025 is called to order. Member Washington will now lead us in a moment of reflection, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want you to please join me in a moment of reflection honoring Mr. Tony Saladino, who passed away a week ago. For more than 5 decades, he devoted his career to teaching physical education, beginning at Forest Hills School in 1958. Tony continued teaching for 30 years at Selfner Elementary School. He later taught at Valrico Elementary School, where he faithfully served students until he retired in 2015. In 1981, Tony and his beloved wife, Bertha, created the Saladino Baseball Tournament, which quickly grew into one of the most cherished traditions in Hillsborough County and blossomed into one of the largest high school baseball tournaments in the nation. Again, in the nation. Mr. Saladino's influence reached far beyond the classroom. The lives he touched are testament to his legacy as both as an educator and a role model. Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Before we move on to the meeting, I just want to acknowledge some elected officials we have here. I want to acknowledge Plant City Mayor Kilton and County Commissioner Commissioner Miller. So welcome to our meeting. Okay, so I need a motion and a second to adopt the agenda. I have a motion by Member Gray and a second by you guys, they switched seats, so if you could change it. I have a motion by Member Combs and a second by Member Gray. Any discussion? If not, please vote when your lights appear. Pablo, can you help with these? You got it? Mine's not working now. See, the lights are all on. Bear with us, technical difficulties, but we're going to get this going soon. Okay. They're going to reset it? Okay. Seeing no further discussion, please vote when your lights appear. And with that, the motion passes unanimously. Let the record reflect that all board members are present with the exception of Vice Chair Perez. We have 2 sets of minutes to be approved today, July 22nd, 2025 School Board Workshop and July 29th, 2025 School Board Meeting. I need a motion and a second to approve those minutes. I have a motion by Member Rendon and a second by Member Gray. Any discussion? If not, please vote when your lights appear. And the motion passes unanimously. Board members, I'd like to go over the format of today's meeting. As a reminder, we are a nonpartisan board who believe all children can be empowered to learn, to succeed, and our decisions will be made with that understanding. To pave the way for efficient agenda statements and questions, board members will have 5 minutes to speak with 30 seconds for final thoughts. Afterwards, the superintendent can respond, and if you have further questions, you are asked to get back in the queue. Member Washington will now read the board guidelines.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we begin this afternoon meeting, please allow me to quickly review the format of our school board meetings. Please silence all electronic devices. There are speakers in the room behind me that allow board members to hear the meeting upon stepping away from the dais. This meeting can be viewed with closed caption on live webcasts, on cable TV, on video monitors here in the auditorium. It also can be viewed with closed captioning in the online video archive.
Thank you. We have one item scheduled for time certain. That's at 6 p.m. We have employee and student input. We'll now move on to our recognitions. A101, recognition of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Best Crew Award. Brian Ford, Chief Operating Officer, will be in attendance. Sherry Bollinger will introduce him and call up to recognize these crew awards. So at this time, I'd like to call Sherry, Supervisor, Partnership, Engagement, Philanthropy, and Outreach.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, board members, superintendent, cabinet members, and guests. For the past year, we proudly celebrated the Buccaneers Best Crew program, which recognizes exceptional teachers, administrators, and support staff across Hillsborough County Public Schools. Today, we're excited to honor the grand champions of the program, those who have gone above and beyond in their dedication and impact. Let's take a moment to reflect on the strength of our partnership and the incredible support from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Caught ball, Mike Evans, touchdown Tampa Bay, fire the cannon. It's at the 5, 3, 2, 1, touchdown Tampa Bay.
We are truly honored to welcome Mrs. Darcy Glazer Kasowicz, owner and chairman of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Foundation, along with Brian Ford, Chief Operating Officer of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, to the podium.
Hi, everybody. Just very excited to be here today. Just a couple of things. First of all, just want to thank you, all of you, for everything that you do in the community. My family has been very interested in supporting the schools since we purchased the team 30 years ago. And it's, I have 5 brothers, and we grew up in Rochester, New York, and we kind of lived on the edge of civilization. So it was all farmland past where we grew up. And we went to public school. And so it's very close to our heart, everything that everybody's doing here. And I just was sitting down there and sat next to Shanetta right there. And she's a bus driver, and it just brought back a core memory of mine that if I called any of my brothers and said, who's Dudley, they would know it's bus 103, the bus that we took to our public schools growing up. So this means a lot to my family, and so I'm just very appreciative to be here today. We're very excited about this program and excited about our Shade Cover program that's kind of coming to completion now with 135 schools. We have shade covers so kids can have outdoor classrooms and sun protection, which is very important to everybody. And also just continuing our program of taking our Vision Mobile to all the schools to make sure that all children have their eyes checked. I think we're up to about 200,000 kids that we've checked and about 20,000 eyeglasses that we've given away, and I wear contacts. Everybody in my family can't see. So, you know, it's we know what it means to have a pair of eyeglasses to be your best self and to really lift up the children of this community. So I'm just really happy to be here today, and thank you to everybody here for everything that everybody does. It's so important. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Board, Superintendent Brian Ford, and again, I'd just like to echo everything that Mrs. Kasowitz just said. This has been my favorite day of each month, coming to the school board and recognizing these extreme performers. And today, it was a very tough decision how we went about trying to select from the over 30 winners from across the year of last year, our first year. So behind you, illustrated, are all the winners from the past month through last school year. And we're so excited to carry this program on into this school year, but we're also very proud of all of the programs and all of the collaboration that we share, and we're just honored to be a part of this, and we can't wait to recognize the winners each month coming up. But on that note, the winners from last year, based on us all going back and forth trying to determine a way to pick a winner, we let the computer and we let technology handle it. So. But we got 3 winners that, you know, at each level, the support staff, the teacher, and the principal, and I'd just like to take a few minutes just to read their story once again. First, as Mrs. Kasowitz met early, Shanetta Strong, our bus driver. And tonight we honor an individual. Yes, big round of applause. And as I mentioned each month that we have a tradition at One Buck, and on behalf of the Glazer family, we always recognize anybody that goes over and above, and these individuals did just that each of the months. But tonight we're honoring an individual whose actions reflect both extraordinary courage and a lifetime of dedication. For over 22 years, she's proudly served as a school bus driver within Hillsborough County Public Schools, ensuring the safety and well-being of countless students each day. Her daily devotion to student safety, including a day this past year where you heroically saved a child, and that's what brought you to our awareness, illustrates the very best of Hillsborough County Public Schools, and you truly exemplify excellent compassion and unwavering guardianship. So again, on behalf of the Glazer family and our entire organization, thank you. And you got a football, a game ball. I'm going to present you with the 50th pin in honor of our 50th season and all that you do. Next is Miss Elizabeth Alexander, a teacher from Pizzo, K through 8. How are you? You may remember throughout her steadfast dedication to both her community engagement and academic excellence. Ms. Pizzo is a teacher who exemplifies the spirit of the Bucks Crew Award champion. Academically, she meets the diverse needs of her students with strategic impact. Personally, her desire to help others shows in her thoughtfulness and her initiatives like organizing the gifts for all her kids during the holidays. And that was what was brought to our attention, and I'll never forget that month. You're a true champion of student success and school culture. So thank you again on behalf of our entire organization and the Glazer family. We got something big. I have another big announcement, but I want to bring up Mr. Jake Russell as well. Principal from Chamberlain High School. Congratulations. Yeah, thank you. So, Mr. Russell touched many administrators, teachers, and students in your 2 decades as a principal, and many more in the classroom. President. You've worked tirelessly to improve overall school grades, increase exam pass rates, and single-handedly transform the school that you work into a family atmosphere. You've created opportunities for advanced learning and for success, including the new trajectory for Chamberlain High School itself, which will offer a variety of technical programs in the 26-27 school year. So that's amazing. You're not only a principal, but you're a mentor, an educator, and leader in every sense of the word. And if I recall, those were the words that brought to our attention to get you that recognition a few months back. But congratulations, and again, on behalf of the Glazers and our entire organization. And now for the good part. You already got your game ball, and I hope you're proudly displaying that game ball. But now, with our 50th season getting underway, coming up, we'd like to invite you as our guest as season pass members. And you'll receive season pass tickets for you and a companion for each of our regular season games, and I'm going to be there to welcome you and show you to your seats. So, again, on behalf of the Glazer family and our entire organization, thank you for what you did to get this recognition, but more importantly, thank you for all that you do each and every day. And that goes for all of the board, everybody in attendance. We are just proud to be partners in this program. So thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your partnership so much. Thank you for all that you do to invest in our schools. And right, go Bucks, right? Go Bucks. All right, now we're moving on to public comment. The board welcomes public comments from citizens and values your input to the board. And in order to provide the most comprehensive responses to your comments, our staff will follow up with you and keep our board informed about the responses. Our school board respects the public's right to speak to the board, and we appreciate you taking your time to be here. You have the right to speak about any issue you like and will not be interrupted. However, any behavior intended to interrupt the orderly conduct of the meeting will not be allowed. We do request that you try and focus on the issues. When addressing the board, please state your name and speak clearly into the microphone. This afternoon, every speaker will have 3 minutes. Reminder that your 3 minutes start when you begin speaking. When there are 30 seconds left, you'll see a yellow light on the lectern and hear a chime. A red light and a chime will indicate when your time is up. I'll now please call up the first 5 speakers.
Good afternoon. My name is Tabitha, and I'm a parent of a student here in Hillsborough County. When I left the Army in 2010 and I returned to Hillsborough County, it was because this was an area where I wanted to raise my child because this is where I was born and raised and attended school. Enrolling my son in Hillsborough County was a source of pride for me. Over the last few years, my pride has fallen as I watched this school board consistently bend the knee to the same religious extremism that I was raised in and fought hard to prevent my child from being exposed to and subjected to. As a veteran, it discourages me to see the person who is meant to represent the epitome of what the parents that voted these elected officials of the school board want and done in the county and represent. And to see this individual bend the knee to a threat over social media, a threat no less brought up because a public school teacher believes their religious and political ideology should be posted on social media while on taxpayer dime. Banning transmission by Alex Birdie is a gross overreach of office and, in effect, censorship. It is also a gross violation of the First Amendment. As a parent, I am disgusted. If I wanted my child to be educated in a school district where the leaders of a school board bend the knee out of fear of being fired instead of standing up to support the processes put in place to protect the wants of actual parents in the county, I wouldn't live in the United States of America. You are not preparing students for life. You are preparing them to be sycophants. As a school board, you are supposed to represent every parent, not just the loud, hateful minority incapable of cognitive flexibility. I had the spine to serve my country, and I implore you to have the spine to stand up for the processes you claim you fully believe and support for the school district.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Dr. Bobby Smith. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, honorable board members, Superintendent Ayers. It's good to see all of you again. I'm here today chosen as the representative of a group that includes many here in this room tonight and many more that could not be here but stand with us in spirit, recommending the Technical College in Plant City be named in honor of Dr. Sylvia Cantrell Albritton. For nearly 50 years, Dr. Albritton has served Hillsborough County Public Schools with unwavering dedication, integrity, and excellence. She has touched countless lives through her leadership, mentorship, and advocacy for public education. She is more than an accomplished educator. She has broken barriers of gender and race, becoming a beacon of inspiration, particularly within the Hispanic community. She is celebrated not only for her professional achievements, but also her kindness, grace, and wisdom that define her character. Those who have worked alongside Sylvia speak of her with profound respect and admiration. We understand that the naming of a school is a sensitive matter, and sometimes certain sites are a better fit for honoring specific individuals or geographic locations. We appreciate the sensitivity that this board brings and thoughtful consideration that you give to these decisions. Board members have encouraged us to keep trying, and we certainly will. If this is not the right site, we understand, and we will continue our efforts. But if you do find that this is the right time and place, we believe that a school bearing Dr. Albritton's name would stand as a lasting symbol of perseverance, excellence, and diversity, inspiring generations of students to rise above challenges and pursue their dreams. On behalf of those here tonight and many more that could not be here with us, I respectfully urge your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, board members and superintendent. I am Jason Jones, Vice Mayor for Plant City. Before I begin, I just want to say thank you for everything you all do for our students in Plant City and throughout Hillsborough County. We greatly appreciate you. I am here tonight to talk to you also about the naming of the new Plant City Technical College. But before I share my request, I want you to know why this matters to me. I founded Plant City's first youth commission to teach local high school students about government and leadership. I attend nearly every high school graduation ceremony for Plant City schools, and I make it a priority to support our young people whenever I am asked. I share this because I was once told by former Mayor Rick Lott, if we continue to support our youth, Plant City will always be great. Rick's words and his leadership have guided me personally, and they have shaped opportunities for countless young people. For this reason and many more, I believe it would be a fitting tribute to name the new Plant City Technical College in honor of Rick Lott. I also want to acknowledge that I am not alone in this belief. Standing with me here in full support are County Commissioner Christine Miller, Plant City Mayor Nate Kilton, and Commissioner Mike Sparkman, Commissioner Bill Dotson, and Commissioner Mary Mathis, who could not be with us today. We are also joined by the Plant City Economic Development Corporation, led by Steve Morey, the Plant City Chamber of Commerce, led by Geraldine Rumbarger, If you would, please stand and continue standing. I want to announce you again. Plant City Main Street, led by Don Hyatt. Workforce Development Partners, led by Yvonne Fry. And the Florida Strawberry Festival, led by Kyle Robinson. And finally, I would like to ask Rick Lott, your family, your friends, and any other supporters we have in the room to please stand. Together, we believe naming this new technical college after Rick Lott will honor his legacy and remind future generations of the importance of investing in our youth. Thank you all very much for your time, and we greatly appreciate you.
Can I call up speakers 6 through 10, please? Thank you. Next speaker.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, board members, Mr. Superintendent. I'm Nate Kilton, Mayor of Plant City, where it's always a great day. And I can't begin to tell you, words can't express how over the moon excited we are about this technical college. We know it's going to be a game changer for our community. And I'm here again to advocate for the naming of the school for our former Mayor Rick Lott. I can argue that this school may not have happened if not for him. I mean, this goes back over a decade. He was on the boosters for Plant City High School way back then, and he and several others recognized that, you know, a lot of students are not going on to college, and a lot of them are falling through the cracks, and they don't have a path forward. They need some inspiration. They need some help. That was the genesis of Future Career Academy, and we are so proud that that started in Plant City at Plant City High School, and it blossomed and it's grown, and it's all throughout the county now. And it was because of that, in March of 2020, Rick was asked, what do you need for education resources in Plant City? He didn't miss a beat. He said, we need technical support there. That's what we need. And then from there on, he championed it, trying to make sure we had the land swap, the FAA issues, all those other things. He's also the chairman of the board of directors for Workforce Development Partners that operates Future Career Academy. There's nobody that's been more intimately involved with this school than Rick Lott. And he has such a passion for it. And it's the ethos and also just his own career story. I mean, he started out as a copy repairman, and he worked up through the ranks and eventually built a business that was sold off to Xerox, right? So he deserves this. But more importantly, there are people that deserve it more, and it's the students. The students deserve to have this named after Rick. And why is that? Because you all are building a playbook for enormous success with this. You've got a great administrator in Gary Graham, who I know who's here today. You're going to have great instructors. We've got awesome curriculum from Future Career Academy. And then you bring Rick in, and imagine what it looks like with him to address the students there, to say, I'm Rick Lott. That's my name on the outside of the building there. And let me tell you, I've been exactly where you are right now. You know, what we need in education isn't just instruction, we also need inspiration. You put all that together, and we will not lose. That is a gorgeous and elegant recipe for success. That's a beautiful playbook. And there's one thing, if you don't know about Plant City, we hate to lose. We hate to lose more than we love to win. And I'm not talking about that, about the naming of this. I'm talking about that and making sure that our people are taken care of. And that's why Rick does what he does. So I thank you so much for your consideration on this, and I just hope that we have this opportunity, because I know with the package that we're all putting together that we are going to crush it. And I just thank you for your consideration. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. Well, I would like to issue an explicit content warning to start with. And interestingly, this morning I was actually talking to a former teacher from Plant City who sadly felt the need, like I did, to pull her kids out of the school and to stop teaching so that she could homeschool them because of what she experienced. Even in Plant City, where she said she grew up and it was a conservative, they upheld moral values that she aligned with. But today things are different. So again, an explicit content warning. And today, you know, Superintendent, I'm going to give you a break. I'm not here to talk to you specifically because I understand that you work for the board and are caught in an exceedingly difficult position between following the directives from the State Board of Education and the Attorney General and being at the behest of some of the board members here. So I just want to talk about one book that has been reviewed and retained during the summer process, and that book is Genderqueer. So one that we're all likely very familiar with, it's the one Senator John Kennedy read aloud from during the judiciary hearing. And again, like 9/10 of that was bleeped out because it could not even be played on the news. And we still have it in schools. So here's a quote. I got a new strap-on harness today. I can't wait to put it on you. It will fit my favorite dildo perfectly. You are going to look so hot. I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside me. End quote. Again, this was just reviewed and retained, made available again. Since you prevent us from showing the content from school library books in these meetings, where the adults are uncomfortable and offended by the book's content of the children's libraries, I will have to describe the concurring page, which has an image, this is a graphic novel, of a seemingly naked person kneeling in front of a seemingly partially undressed boy. The penis is out, but again, this is the strap-on. The penis is in the mouth of the kneeling person. So it's an image of oral sex in a school library book currently available here. These are the books that we've been battling. And this review process, having your librarians who chose the book for the libraries to do the reviewing is not an effective way to do this. There needs to be a different process. It also has an image of what the book identifies as Plato's Symposium. It appears to be a man kneeling and holding a young child's erect penis. And in this book, it fueled a sexual fantasy of a character in the book. There's also talk in the book of sex toys, vibrators, masturbation, actually an image of masturbation, an image of gay sex, mention of tasting vagina slime. I don't know how that's preparing students for life. It's really sad that this is still going on here in Hillsborough County. This is one example of many books that are still on the shelves even after the review process, books that aren't even on the DOE website that need to be out of our schools. There are so many sexually explicit books in our school libraries. It's really sad. And then let me just, I'm running out of time. All right, thank you.
No, your time is up. Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Thank you, Lucas Seidman. Members, if 25,000 employees commute each day for 1 hour through an increasingly volatile urban landscape, and some of our teachers travel further, but if each of them commutes to school for an hour per day, the calculation is 4.5 million hours per school year. Revised 2019 Section 4217 of the Employee Handbook forbids them from leaving a lawfully owned firearm or other defensive item in their vehicle while parked at work. That means that when they leave their homes each morning on school days to interact with the community, whether that's getting gas, going to the ATM, taking their children to sports practice, wherever they go before and after work, board policies are in place that reduce their overall safety. 4.5 million hours of safety reduction. What message does this send to the 250,000 students who look to us as educators sometimes to explain what makes America great? Is it guns? Of course not. But it is patriotic and uncompromising securement of our foundational rights. I have come to understand why my freshmen did not stand for the Pledge of Allegiance last year. They couldn't. They can't relate to the concept of America as somewhere to be proud of living because policies like 4217 used institutional power to erode our secured freedoms, not protect them. Florida state statutes do not require nor encourage this board to add additional policies to laws already designed to protect all citizens. That's 4.5 million total hours of injustice as our teachers are less safe, their citizenship trampled on because they cannot reasonably possibly exercise their fundamental rights and follow such a policy. That's 4.5 million hours of increased danger as a class of overworked, underpaid civil servants who form the pillars of this community are now at a greater risk of succumbing to violence, intimidation, theft, rape, unleashed dogs, alligators, and even being trapped in their car in an accident during flood season. And no, 4217 as applied to employees does not make our students safer each day, nor would its modification increase or decrease the level of risk of gun violence like the carnage you see in the news, which all of us would seek to avoid. We are talking specifically about the employees' daily commute and use of parking lots, separate than all other hot-button firearm and personal defense item issues. My name is Lucas David Seidman. I'm a native Floridian and with New York and Maryland roots, but born in Gainesville. Go Gators. The spirit of the Calusa, of the A's, the Miami, the Seminole, the spirit of the Timucua, the Haga, the Tequesta, they are here with me. I won't comment on my case as adjudication is still pending, but I encourage this board to recognize that the 2024 Florida state statutes most likely make lawfully concealed carry of a firearm in a personal vehicle a misdemeanor, not a felony. And I encourage this board to make sure site managers explicitly verbally remind employees of handbook policies relating to firearms so they are not ambushed during second hour while teaching America's future the fundamentals of Western culture via its literature and then mistreated after cooperating. Last year was my first in the district after honorable discharge from our nation's military. I was not aware nor specifically made aware of Policy 4217. I did not exhibit a weapon nor make any threats and yet was invasively searched and then carted off in handcuffs like a villain. No educator should have to endure that. Thank you for changing this policy in the near future to reflect your care for this county's educators. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
I'm Rachel Doyle. I'm a parent of 2 in your schools. You're taking book ban orders on Twitter now, ban airs, not even using official channels or processes. I'm surprised you didn't ask the Commissioner for Education if he wanted fries with that when he commanded you to remove Transmission by Alex Birdie, which I personally read as a parent in your county, and there is nothing objectionable within it. Us parents wanted our review process. You all ignore us, and now you'll likely ban 2 more books that already went through the process and were confirmed to be able to stay. The process and parental feedback do not matter to you. You only value the voices of bigots, the ones in Tallahassee who wield power against you, and the ones in this room who are not public schools parents. Hey, Julie. And between the 2 of you, we're on a slippery slope towards banning books like this, which are on my kids' supplemental reading list. I love that you're not listening to me. This is on my kids' supplemental reading list, and I think that between the fact that our resident county book censorship advocate complained about this because it's un-American to be an immigrant talking about the immigrant experience, and the fact that the teacher who complained about Transmission by Alex Birdie on Truth Social, no less, was posting political TikToks despite being in her classroom talking about wanting more deportations. And she's an ESL teacher, by the way. I'm disgusted that you don't care about teachers following the code of ethics as much as you care about listening to book ban orders on Twitter. If you want to hear about why this all is concerning me, why I think that it's trans people today and it is immigrants tomorrow, you can listen to your resident county book banner. Sorry.
Page 68 says, we're immigrants. Our lives are never fair. Boy, this got my heart rate going. You should see these rich people. They have so much money, but they're so mean to us. Just because we're poorer than them, I finished her sentence. Lupe lifted the floor. And because we're brown, she said quietly. Besides that being a totally hopeless message, it's just not American in any way. Because look around you at all the successful people in every aspect of life in America. That's the beauty of America. So you're teaching kids to look through a different lens at what's happening in America. That is where the Marxification part comes in. So what they're doing is making kids conscious of this invisible problem that's not even a problem, because America is a great country that people are still flooding into over the border.
So I'm supposed to believe that it's about gay sex in books, but that's what people are posting online. Just so we're perfectly clear, the slippery slope that you have put us on lands us with this being gone. She already said she was going to contact the governor about it when Broward didn't successfully ban it. Is this who you want patting you on the back? When the commissioner asks you to ban this book next, I have no faith that you will say no. You won't do the right thing. I don't believe you anymore. This is who pats you on the back, not public schools parents, because she is not, and neither is the teacher, the ESL teacher, who posts about wanting deportations from her classroom.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Gianni Hunt. I'm here on behalf of my family, my community, and on behalf of Magnify Voices, a concerned citizens group made up of parents, grandparents, teachers, veterans, future voters, and concerned citizens that are invested in the future of Hillsborough County, our state, and our country. First, I want to acknowledge and appreciate the attention being given to students' mental health in today's agenda. It's encouraging to see programs and policies that prioritize trauma-informed care emotional wellness, and school-wide support. These steps matter, and they show that our district is listening. One initiative I would like to highlight is the Youth Guidance Evolve program, which includes WOW, Working on Womanhood, and BAM, Becoming a Man. These programs offer research-based support for students navigating trauma, identity, and emotional development. They are meaningful investments in our youth, but only some of our youth. WOW and BAM serve many students, yes, but they also leave many behind. We know that students who are LGBTQ+, neurodivergent, or living at the intersection of multiple marginalized identities face higher risks of bullying, exclusion, and unfortunately, suicide. These students deserve programs that reflect their lived experiences, affirm their identities, and offer culturally competent care. So today I am asking the board to consider, how are we ensuring that all students, not just those who fit into gendered program models, receive the same level of support? What are we doing to fill the gaps for students who don't see themselves reflected in WOW or BAM, or simply haven't figured it out yet? Can we commit to expanding mental health programming to be inclusive, intersectional, and responsive to the full spectrum of student needs? Mental health support must be more than available. It must also be accessible, affirming, and equitable. So I thank you for your time today, and I hope that you're listening to what we're asking. We're asking for equity. We're asking for every child to have the ability to feel seen, to feel heard, and feel valued in their schools. This is important for our schools, it's important for our community, and it's important for the future of our country. So let's live by the values that we're standing here for, and let's think about all the students. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I call up the last three speakers, please? Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Carmen, and I'm a lifelong resident of Hillsborough County, a business owner, and a taxpayer. The list of missteps Van Ayers has committed this summer is long, serious, and could have catastrophic consequences for Hillsborough County's most vulnerable students. Counts 1 through 50 are the 50 books ordered removed from shelves to be reevaluated at a cost of over $500,000 to the district. Dollars that could have been used to enrich our students' education wasted due to political overreach. Not only was it an absolute capitulation to an overreaching Department of Education, throwing existing county policy out the window, it was the direct opposite of leadership at the expense of our most vulnerable students to an administration that has time and again moved the goalposts. What will be next? Who will be next? At what point do you draw the line in the sand and protect all your students, including your trans, queer, Black, Latinx, and disabled students? Count 51 is removing of transmission, yet again removed by state overreach, subverting existing policies and procedures meant to protect First Amendment rights of students. Counts 52 and 53 are to be determined, but the proposed banning of Ellen Hopkins identical and blankets, but I'll see you on September 9th for that. Today, we should be celebrating the overturn of HB 1069 and the win for students' First Amendment rights. We should be asking, when will the color purple, I'm not your perfect Mexican daughter, how the Garcia girls lost their accents, as well as the other 20 books Judge Mendoza ruled should not have been removed, be returned to library shelves. For years, and even today, I have watched people come up to this podium and read out-of-context passages from books and declare books that they read these passages from vulgar and unfit for children. But now the law tells us, return the banned books to the shelves, apply the Miller test to challenge books. The law says the entire book must be taken into account when challenged, not just sections deemed objectionable by a select few intent on banning books that don't meet their personal or ideological beliefs. Books as a whole have artistic and literary merits. Arbitrary passages are not sufficient to ban books. What are you going to do to rectify this situation? How are you going to make it right? The answer is simple. Unban them all. Return the books to library bookshelves. Follow existing policy and procedures. Do it for your students, all 224,000 of them, not just the ones dictated by the Department of Education. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name's April Goodwin. I have 3 daughters in Hillsborough County Schools. We've had great experiences, obviously, with that many kids and that many grades. You always deal with some challenges, but never felt the need to come before you guys, so this is a first. I am actually speaking on behalf of several parents and students that I implored to let me speak on their behalf so that you guys wouldn't get inundated with a lot of the same requests. But my situation is not specific, but I feel like it at least outlays the issue at hand. My daughter's 16, big day to go get her driver's license. We did all of the appropriate documentation. We did driver's ed last year. She passed. She was one of the few that passed the written and driving test in the school. We got the full DMV experience, which spent half the day there, only to find out that she was put in as failed in the system. I thought for sure this was an honest mistake by the school, only to find out later, after trying to address the school for several days over the summer, that I was implored to check my email. They wouldn't even tell me over the phone what the problem was. I wasn't sure how this worked, so I have copies of the email. I didn't know if we passed that out or how that works, but I do have that, and I highlighted a few sections in it, and after I read it, I understand why I was not told over the phone what the problem was. Just to highlight, I don't mean to take this out of context. That's why I brought copies. You can read the whole thing if you would like. But basically, it was outlined that, hey, when teachers cannot conduct on-site tests, they can go to the DMV and take their test there. I understand they cannot, but they did. Second thing is, they said, we sincerely value our program and apologize that the instructor certification was not renewed. So in other words, this person was teaching at our school and did not have their proper certifications to be doing so, which to me is a grave mistake on somebody's behalf. And the way that the letter is written, and I'm not sure who even read it, it just said it came from the district. I don't know who that is. But said that they did not follow the contract and that all students that were at plant were impacted. I do know that that's not correct, that it was a single teacher that did not have their certifications, and so that is why I was wanting to talk today. What I would like to end with is, and what I would like is the response was not only delayed and vague, but it also demonstrated a troubling absence of any accountability, proactivity, and any responsibility. I'd like to have assurances on what they're doing to make sure that the teachers teaching our kids have the proper credentials and they're actually in place. And I'd like to know what action plan is going to be done in order to resolve this and give us the peace of mind to send our kids to school and know that the teachers are qualified.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can leave those copies with Mr. Porter, and he'll pass that out to the board members. Thank you. And before we call up our last speaker, Mr. Weedleton had signed up, and you're up to speak if you want to get in line. Otherwise, next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Robert People, and I'm a Tampa resident. Protect our children, right? I mean, that's the excuse we're using to ban these books, correct? When a child is murdered by a school shooter, we don't hear protect our children from those same people. When a child is molested by a straight man, crickets. When brown immigrant children are treated like violent criminals because of who their parents happen to be, silence. So let's stop lying about this being to protect any children. It's about protecting bigotry. As for these books that are banned, when were they read by those who made the decisions? When were their parents notified? And since when are these discussions done over Twitter rather than through your committee processes? Book bans have nothing to do with protecting children. This is to carry the governor's homophobic and racist agenda. On second thought, no, let's not call it homophobia. See, phobia means you're afraid of something. Not one person listening to this or watching this or in this room is scared of any book. Bigotry has nothing to do with fear. See, this administration has made outward bigotry not only a trend, but the mission. We're at a place now where those in charge would step over a child who was bleeding to death as a result of a school shooting only to take a banned book away from another child. This is unacceptable. See, my children are grown already, but the parents in this district deserve better. You owe that to them. Stop using our children as shields for evil, twisted, and political agendas. They deserve better. See, when we step away from this podium, you all will continue business as usual, but we will not. See, this is an attack on our children. If you will not protect them, then we will. That means we will continue to fight until every book is back on the shelves. Now, if you want to support bigotry, I served on the Army for 21 years for you to have that right. But keep our damn children out of it. Thank you.
Thank you. And that concludes public comment. We'll now move on to the consent agenda. I need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. I have a motion by Member Combs and a second by Member Gray. Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. The consent agenda has been approved. I will now call on Superintendent Ayer to highlight our administrative appointments.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And board members, there were 4 principal appointments on the consent agenda this afternoon, so I just want to take a moment and highlight those. And we're going to start with the new principal of, if we can pull up, there she is. We'll start with Babita Artabazi, the new principal of Lato High School. Babita, come on down. Congratulations. Stay right there. So, Babita, our new principal of Lato, Babita began her teaching career in Norwalk, California, teaching health, PE, and driver's education. 2007, she moved to Okaloosa County Schools, teaching science and serving as head coach for girls basketball. Ms. Artabazi began her career in Hillsborough County in 2010 at Hillsborough High School, teaching physical education and health, as well as serving as head coach for girls basketball and flag football. 2015, she was appointed AP for Student Affairs at Alonzo High School. And in 2018, Ms. Artabazi was appointed assistant principal for administration at Lato High School, where she is currently serving. Babita Artabazi, our new principal of Lato High School. Congratulations. Lots of support there for Babita. Good luck to you, Babita. And we have Mr. Brent Williams. Where's Brent at? Is he here? Well, Brent, come on down, sir. So Mr. Williams is our current principal over at Benito. So he's been a principal and did an outstanding job over at Benito. But he began his teaching career in Miami-Dade County in 1995. He moved to Hillsborough County in 2006, where he taught PE at Miles Elementary. 2015, he was appointed AP at Buchanan Middle School. He then transferred to Sly Middle School in 2018 as assistant principal. He was appointed principal at Memorial Middle School in 2021. And then 2022, Mr. Williams was appointed principal at Benito Middle School, where he is currently serving, but he is now our new principal of Franklin Middle. Brent, congratulations. And Mr. Williams, thank you for your time over at Benito. You've done an incredible job over there. So that next leader there we'll appoint at the next meeting has big shoes to fill. So thank you for all your leadership, sir. All right. 2 more. We have our new principal of Coleman Middle School, and Mr. Robert Chisholm. Robert, where you at, sir? All right. Come on down, Robert. All right. So Robert Chisholm began his career in Hillsborough County as a band director in 1997, served as band director from 97 to 2013, so 16 years as a band director at Progress Village Middle School, Liberty Middle School, Randall Middle School, and Adams Middle School. From 2013 to 15, he served as lead arts teacher at Progress Village Middle Magnet School. 2015, Mr. Chisholm was appointed AP at Farrell Middle Magnet School. He then transferred to Greco Middle School as an AP in 2018. And in 2021, Mr. Chisholm was appointed assistant principal at Coleman Middle School, where he is currently serving. So from assistant principal at Coleman Middle School to now the principal at Coleman Middle School. Congratulations, Mr. Chisholm. A lot of supporters for our principals this evening. I love it. And our last principal appointment, Kathy Brown, where you at? Come on down. You got to go that way. Yeah. So Kathy Brown is our new principal at Sullivan Elementary School. So Kathy Brown began her teaching career in 1996 at Grady Elementary, where she taught first grade. 1998, she transferred to River Hills Elementary, where she taught second and third grades. She then transferred to Mintz Elementary School in 2001, teaching second and third grades. And in 2004, Miss Brown was appointed AP at Sullivan Partnership School, where she's currently serving. So 2004 appointed the AP over at Sullivan to serve Sullivan that entire time as an AP, now the principal over at Sullivan. Congratulations. Madam Chair, those are our 4 principal appointments.
Thank you so much. Congratulations, principals. And we'll now just take a moment to pause for anyone who'd like to exit the boardroom. There we go. The following items will now be heard. C505, C101, C102, C104, C302, C704, C707, and C1001. We'll begin with 505, naming of the Technical College in Plant City. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are excited to name our new technical college in Plant City. It is located at 1690 East Park Road and will be a state-of-the-art facility. Our classrooms will be open for adult education programs in just a couple of months, followed by high school offerings starting in January of 2026. Students will have access to hands-on training in industrial electricity, welding technology, building construction, HVAC, and forklift certification. Each program is designed to be completed in approximately 1 year, helping to grow a skilled workforce and connect graduates with high-demand career opportunities. At this point, I'd like to hand it over to Mr. Porter to provide the process that we, as a board, goes through to name a school.
Yeah, thank you, Superintendent. Madam Chair and board members, this process is dictated by your policy 7250, commemoration of school facilities. This facility may be named in one of the following categories: for educators, number 1, or outstanding citizens, or for groups or clubs which assisted most in the establishment of the facility. Those are the criteria that you would be considering tonight. Dr. Graves will go over how the names were solicited. Once that is heard, the way you will be voting tonight is by ballot. Ms. Arja will be providing each of you with a slip of paper with your name on it. You're to write your selection on the name for who you want to have the school named after. The superintendent will tabulate those and announce the number of votes for each candidate. These do become public records. Your name will be on them. And a successful candidate must have at least 4 votes to have the school named for that person. If there are not 4 votes in the first round, the voting will continue until a candidate successfully achieves 4 votes from this board. I'm happy to answer any questions, but this is a similar process that you've used in the past and for electing the chair. So again, you will write on the ballot your selection. That will become a public record. The superintendent will announce, and then we'll ask for a vote to codify afterwards. Yes. Of course, yeah, but you're going to hear from Dr. Graves first about how the names were solicited and the community input that was sought.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. I'll provide an overview of how the survey was communicated. The naming process was announced on June 30th. The survey opened on July 7th and closed on July 25th. We received 1,471 total name recommendations. 203 unique individual names were submitted as recommendations. Of these submissions received, 47% or 686 came from individuals living within the Plant City zip codes 33563, 33564, 33565, 33566, and 33567. Regarding the population of who submitted a recommendation, 387 came from HCPS alumni, 352 from community members, 300 from parents and guardians. The survey was also shared via social media in English and Spanish to Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It was also shared on the district website, and there was a district press release. Additionally, it was shared with various Plant City leaders, as well as to all Tampa Bay television stations, the Tampa Bay Times, the Tampa Beacon, the Plant City Observer, and the Florida Strawberry Growers Association. Thank you, Mr. Porter.
So to Ms. Gray's point, at this time it would be appropriate for board member comments before you actually vote, which is a little different than your normal voting process.
Okay, so I need a second. I need a motion and a second.
And there's no motion at this point. We're going to wait on that because the motion will come after you do the vows. This is just for comments about before the voting begins.
You want me to take discussion before we have a motion or a
Yes,
second?
because the motion would be whoever gets the most votes, so that'll be
Okay.
the ultimate motion.
Okay, then I'll open it up for discussion, and I'll recognize Member Rendon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a unique honor as a school board member to look at our communities and exactly what our community stands for. Plant City is a very unique area. Not only is it a place where our families have grown up for generations, it's a place where the community comes together in disasters, comes together for growth, comes together to support each and every one of you, whether it's on a Friday night at the football games and the stadiums are packed, whether it's the Strawberry Festival and everyone pitches in to support the local youth at a cattleman's or a steer auction. It's everyone in Plant City that circles around themselves. And we had several members of Plant City that were nominated for this honor. One was Mr. Fred Parks and his community within the Strawberry Growers Association. They've made a significant contribution to our growers and our food securities for our community. And we are so grateful for everything that he's done. Mr. Carl Carlson is also a member of this community that has served our community for over 35 years. It is an honor for what he has done for our school board, our county commission, our state legislative, and our agricultural community. It is with that I would say that as we move forward in building additional schools in Plant City, that we want to honor and recognize him as one of the head contributions of this community of Hillsborough County. He has taken this school district through many challenges, whether it was closing schools, combining high schools, walking through desegregation, but he was a vital entity that has led to the success of not only Hillsborough County, but Plant City. And so for that, I will always support him in naming a school as we move forward. But in this particular situation, Plant City is very near and dear to my heart. It is a place that I am honored to represent. It's a place where my family continuously goes as part of my community. And because of that, I see the difference that individuals have made throughout the community of Plant City. Mr. Rick Lott is a vital member of the community that has made such a significant contribution, and this school is one of those contributions. He has worked through 3 different superintendents to make sure they recognize the needs of a community like Plant City. It's not just a community that was built on individuals that have gone off to college, but it's built off the individual hands that have toiled the soil, that have built the construction of the homes, but has actually worked from the ground up. He has ensured that this district understands the needs of a place like Plant City. And because of that, I find that to be very vital. Not only that, but he has been an individual contributor to the youth of Plant City. Being one of the founding members of the foundation within Plant City High School, an individual that has been raised up here in Plant City throughout his entire lifetime. He has contributed back to our schools over and over again. He himself is one of those that bid on some of our FFA agriculture and our individual animals throughout the year to support all of our youth and all of our programs throughout the county. He has worked through various barriers through through the FAA and with making sure that land was available for exactly what the needs are. As we see Plant City grow, we see the needs for these individual programs within our community. We need to reach the next generation and give them the opportunity to build their own programs, build their own companies, and succeed. And Plant City is just the place to do that. Former Mayor Rick Lott has been an instrumental part in every step of the way. If it wasn't for his tenacity, his vision, and his dedication to this particular community, we would not see this technical college today. And because of that, he has my 100% full support in naming of this Plant City Technical College. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Member Rendon. Member Combs.
Thank you, Chair Vaughn. You know, when first being elected on Hillsborough County School Board, I mean, I've traveled through Hillsborough County, but never as extensively as my second and third year. And really, Plant City became such a special place to me. I live in Odessa. From Odessa to Plant City, I think it's just the furthest apart. But in a way, it has some of the same feelings, that kind of rural area. But when I went to Plant City and I went to Fred's for the first time, and I started going there, I told someone today, when I went to my first strawberry festival, I grabbed one of those strawberries and I put it in the top of my car right there, and I have it every day, because for me, Plant City is just a really, really special place. And when I think of Plant City, I really think of former Mayor Rick Lott. A little bit about him. You know, he was born and raised in Northwest Plant City. He was born on a farm and a ranch. He started his education at Cork Elementary, and he attended Lincoln 6th Grade Center, and then Marshall 7th Grade Center, Tomlin Junior High School, before ultimately graduating from Plant High School. So that really shows you through and through, he is a Plant City graduate. He was an FFA officer. He participated in FFA speech contest and earned a grand champion title. The thing that I really was like, when I met Rick and I talked to him and his beautiful wife Di, and he talked about his family, what about college? You know, college is not for everyone, and we're learning more and more. There's such a great opportunity for technical vocational programs. There's so many opportunities to do well in your life, and with AI and things happening, there are so many ways to be able to support your family and have that American dream, and it's not always with college. So Rick Lott, although he could have probably gone to Harvard, you know, he decided to, you know, work on a copier business. And with his prolific gift of gab, he eventually moved into sales. And he worked his way up on that company to be a vice president. And he founded his first company in the 1990s from humble beginnings. And that's really stands out. And after that, he had 7 different companies over the last few decades. He's had leadership roles all over Plant City, from the Florida Strawberry Festival to Workforce Development Partner for Future Career Academy, the Raiders Champion Foundation, Plant City YMCA, Plant City Chamber, Plant City Rotary, Bay Area's South Florida, the county commissioner for 18 years, with 11 of those being a mayor. And what's most important to me is that every time that I talk to Rick Lott, he always asks about the students. He cares about the future. He realizes this technical vocational program would not be there. He's been instrumental in bringing that there. So without a question for me, this is really, really Rick Lott Technical Vocational Center. I envision that. I just think he's just him and his family really speak to living that American dream. And as students enter that program, they can hear that you can have huge success. Sure, go to college, but if you decide not to go to college, there's a huge opportunity for you, and having such a role model there is amazing. Last thing I want to say, it's so hard naming these schools. I want to say that I am Sylvia Albritton, I've heard her name over and over again, and I am really, really committed to keeping that in mind as we move forward. But I truly believe, when I think of Plant City, and I think of the Strawberry Festival, and I think about the future that these children are going to have, and to see somebody who was born and raised there and to keep going back to help lead that city says a lot. So it's an honor to be here today, and thank you.
Thank you, Member Combs. Dr. Hahn.
Thank you, Chair.
We have had the honor of naming many, many schools during our tenure on this board, and it's going to continue based on the amount of growth we have in our community. As a school board member, and I say this every time we are getting ready to name a school, I hold a specific standard when it comes to this responsibility. And for me, the standard is really simple but profound. The individual, the namesake, must have devoted their professional career as an educator, where they have strengthened Hillsborough County Public Schools. So that is where I start in my process. They must have been an educator. It doesn't matter what position they held. What matters is their lifelong commitment to educating students and uplifting our schools. And when we choose to honor an educator in this way, we not only preserve their legacy, but also it's a reminder of the future generations, to the future generations, of the standards of excellence and the deep devotion those who dedicated their lives to the classrooms have given us. The reality is that very few educators are ever given the opportunity to have their names placed on a public building. Unlike philanthropists who can donate millions or public figures who receive recognition through their titles, most educators work quietly, tirelessly, and without fanfare. And that's why it's so important for me, a former teacher and lifelong educator, to honor those men and women who have poured their lives into our children, our classrooms, and our communities. Over the past several weeks, I've heard from countless community members, educators, parents, alumni, and civic leaders who all share one conviction. Dr. Sylvia Albritton embodies what it means to dedicate one's life to education. She was a teacher, a dean, an assistant principal for curriculum, a principal, a general director for career and tech ed, a charter school advisory board member, a language arts department chair, a peer evaluator, and a professor. One constituent said it best: to name this institution in honor of Dr. Albritton is to name it with the spirit of curiosity, dignity, compassion, and tenacity. And that is exactly the kind of legacy we want this school to carry. Dr. Albritton's devotion to her students and colleagues created ripples that transformed lives year after year. Another veteran educator with over 40 years of service in our district described her as one of the finest educators who has served our teachers, parents, community, and most importantly, our students. After decades of leadership, mentorship, and unwavering commitment, Dr. Albritton continues to exemplify the values we strive to instill in every classroom: dedication, dignity, leadership, and compassion. We received probably hundreds of letters over the past few months speaking to those very ideas. So naming a school is not simply about choosing a title. It's about setting a vision for generations to come. The name should serve as a beacon representing the best of who we are and who we aspire to be. And naming this school after Dr. Sylvia Albritton will ensure every student, family, and staff member who walks through its doors are reminded daily of the highest standards of excellence and the devotion to our educators. There are many in our community who have served honorably and given back to our schools, but few have done so with the passion, focus on students, and transformational impact that Dr. Albritton has had on Hillsborough County Public Schools. And with a strong voice of support from our community, I wholeheartedly support naming the Plant City Technical College in honor of Dr. Sylvia Cantrell Albritton, ensuring that her legacy of excellence and devotion to education will continue to inspire generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hahn. Member Gray?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And if we go back years ago, when I first started, I think it was 2017. We were in the library at Plant City High School, and I'm saying this to former Mayor Rick Lott. And it didn't occur to me that a mayor would come to a little town hall meeting just because I wanted to see what the teachers were thinking and so forth. But there he was, and that told me right there that this is a leader from a very, very tight-knit community known as Plant City that's really student-centered. And then as the year, 2 or 3 years that we got together and we talked about, and as Mayor Kilton said, a possibility of a technical school, and under Superintendent Addison Davis and Chris Farkas, we, and of course with the motivation of and direction from then Mayor Lott, we put together the plan to have a technical school. And this is very important because it's not a sudden situation that all of a sudden we have a school named after a wonderful gentleman. It came from many, many years of work and diligence and belief in a leader that just had his heart given to the welfare and well-being of the students of Plant City. So fast forward, and this is what Vice Mayor, some of the letters, which we had many, but some of the letters probably will give you the emblematic rationale as to why Rick Lott has and will have probably this naming of the school tonight. From Vice Mayor Jason Jones. Jason said, a leader who knows, and this goes to Rick, Rick is a leader who knows that the strength of the Plant City community lies in its investment. And it goes goes with saying that communities make our schools and our schools make our communities. And that to invest in the community in a school just is so very critical. And then we had a quote from Mayor Kilton, even though, and I said to Nate, you do beat me in the 10Ks, so I'm going to quote you anyway. You're forgiven. But one of the things that you said and you believe in is that Rick Lott will remove the stigma that that if sometimes people think you're a failure, a student's a failure because they don't go to college, and that having a trade school identification is not a sign of ill success. Rather, it is a sign of great success, great entrepreneurial skill sets, and more than anything, a lot of sophistication in machinery, and it really puts the hat forth for our agricultural community. Mayor Kilton, you will know that the late Earl J. Leonard spoke and did form the original, and some of you know this, Carl Carpenter also, put the vision of vocational technical schools in our school district. And now you're seeing the fruition of it coming back in strong, in many strong waves. Then we had Commissioner Sparkman, one of the letters that he wrote, or one of the sentences, he said that Rick is a steadfast advocate for the advancement of education, workforce development, and economic opportunity in our community. So with all these letters and community, let's just say buy-in, you are my nominee, but just know that we had tremendous, fantastic other nominees. Sylvia Albritton, you are, of course, one of them. So I'm out of time, as usual, but from what I see and what I know in my background, I will say that I'm proud to recommend Plant City Technical College named after Rick Lott. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Washington?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I tell you, I'm an old timer. I go back a long ways. And many people don't know I used to work in Plant City. When I first started teaching, I worked at Turkey Creek, and I also was assistant basketball coach at Plant City High with Coach Jimmy Smith. And your name has always come up in a positive way. And when you hear that in a positive way, something good is about it. Because a lot of times you hear people say bad thing, something off the wall, but your name is a proud name for Plant City. And I want to thank you for having that insight for students so they can be successful. Because everybody not made to go to college. I mean, that's 100%. But you had that insight to have that put in where kids can be successful. Because it's all about being successful in life, no matter what you do, But you carry it to a different way and a different level. And I appreciate that too, Mr. Lott. Also appreciate, you know what I appreciate about you the most? I can't understand how your tie is so neat. I had to get that one in. Always properly dressed, always professional, always doing the right things, what people should do in life. And it's a privilege to have your name on that school, on that career center. It's a privilege. And everybody in Plant City should be happy because this guy is from Plant City. You got a homegrown person there who has been a legend in Plant City for years. And now you get a chance for fruition to come out and be what it is. So you have my 100% vote for the Career Center. And I want you to teach me how to tell my time like that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Member Washington. Superintendent Van Ayers.
Thank you, board members. Board members, I've been asked by the Vice Chair, Karen Perez. I just want to read into the record her statement in support of naming of the Plant City Career Technical College after former Plant City Mayor Rick Lott. Again, this is from Vice Chair Karen Perez. My statement is in support of naming of the Plant City Career Technical College in Plant City, Florida, after former Mayor Rick Lott. As an accomplished entrepreneur and dedicated public servant, Rick Lott has been a steadfast champion for our students and a driving force behind the development and growth of the Plant City community and its surrounding communities. Mayor Lott's impressive tenure as the longest-serving mayor of Plant City, with a total of 11 years in office, speaks to his unwavering commitment to the betterment of Plant City. His leadership, which began as a city commissioner in 2004 and extended through multiple terms as mayor, has left a lasting impact on the educational and economic landscape of Plant City. Beyond his official role, Rick Lott's genuine care for the well-being of our youth and his ongoing support of educational initiatives make him a fitting namesake for the Career Center. As Vice Chairman of the Plant City EDC, he continues to advocate for opportunities that empower our students and prepare them for successful futures. In recognition of Mayor Lott's exceptional contributions, support, and dedication to our students and community, I believe that naming the new Career Center after him would be a fitting tribute to his legacy and a source of inspiration for generations to come. And that is a statement from Vice Chair Karen Perez, District 6 School Board Member.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I didn't plan anything, unlike some of my fellow board members, so forgive me if I kind of ramble up here. But as Dr. Hahn pointed out, these are always they're an honor to make these decisions, but they're so incredibly hard because we have so many amazing people who contribute to our community and lift up our schools that, it's even though it's an honor, it's tough to choose one person over the other. I admire Dr. Hahn's commitment to consistently advocating for our educators and putting them at the forefront of the opportunity to name schools. And we have got an overwhelming response about Dr. Albritton and, how much she's contributed to our community. And I agree that her name will continue to be at the forefront of the decisions that we make. I have a very small, tiny piece of Plant City in my district. I do. So, I do feel that, especially tied to this specific naming of this career center. But I also try to listen to my fellow board members. And Member Rendon, puts a lot of her time and energy into Plant City. And I try to listen to my fellow board members who know their districts, who really advocate for it. I think it's great that we have a career center here. I think all of our districts need an opportunity for career advancement and career centers. And it's up to all of us as board members to advocate for those things. So I appreciate that Member Rendon has been at the forefront and advocated to make sure that this happens for Plant City. And I hope we all have opportunities for these to happen in our districts, because all of Hillsborough County needs an opportunity to give our kids an alternative to college, to give them CTE, to give them technical opportunities. And since Member Rendon spoke so passionately to Mayor Lott, and I do know how much you've contributed to Plant City, even though it is my instinct to normally go with an educator, and that's, most of the time that's where I'm going to put my recommendation. I do believe that you are a great namesake to give to this career center. What I do hope is that a lot of the times when we're able to name schools after families or after our educators, they come back and they invest so much into our schools. You know, they're at every groundbreaking, they're there to support our teachers. You know, it's such an honor for them that they bring so much from their community and back and just really love that school and invest in it. And, you know, I'm confident that if this goes for you, Mayor Lott, that you will bring that same energy and your family will, and make sure that you continue to support that career center, you know, our students in Hillsborough County, and this board in general, right? To make sure that we have the best for our students in every part of Hillsborough County. So with that, I guess we're going to move on to...
Ms. Arger will be passing out the ballots. Again, board members, you will write your selection on the ballot and sign it. Give them to the superintendent, who will announce the results. And then at the end of this, if there are 4 votes for a candidate, it would be appropriate to have a motion to codify that.
Chair Bond, I have the results of the vote.
Goodness gracious. All right.
Okay,
Well, let's
there we
not
go.
keep us waiting anymore.
No.
The results are.
The board member, I have the results of the vote. We have 5 votes for Rick Lott, 1 vote for Sylvia Albritton.
All right. Well, congratulations.
And if I could, for the record, just each, so the 5 votes for Rick Lott are Member Vaughn, Member Combs, Member Washington, Member Rendon, I missed one, Member Gray, and the vote for Sylvia Albritton is from Member Hahn.
So, Madam Chair, it would be appropriate now to ask for a motion to codify that result.
Okay. I need a motion to approve naming the Career Center in Plant City after former Mayor Rick Lott. I have a motion by Member Gray and a second by Member Rendon. Is there any discussion at this point? All right. If not, please vote when your lights appear. And the motion passes unanimously. Congratulations.
you. Thank you. Congratulations. I look forward to seeing you there. Congratulations. I know you'll do great. All right, we're going to pause just for another moment if anybody wants to clear the boardroom. Oh, we're going to take a picture? My microphone. Oh, there we go. Really quick, before we end this, Mr. Porter, can you just give us a real quick clarification
Yeah.
about the naming of the school?
Yeah, clarification, just so in the future we don't have any confusion. I did confirm with Mayor Lott that the official, his official wishes to be Rick Lott
Okay.
Technical College, not Richard or any other thing, Rick Lott, and just so that's on the record and we don't have to come back.
Okay,
So, thank
great.
you, Mayor Lott, and congratulations.
Thanks again. Congratulations.
All right, all right. You got me. You got my tie. Okay.
All right, we'll just wait a few more minutes for our board members to make it back to the dais. Dais? You say potato? I say potato? Okay, now we are going to move on to 101, Sole Source Agreement, Imagine Language and Literacy from Imagine Learning LLC, and Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Imagine Language and Literacy is a digital education program that provides targeted literacy instruction with simultaneous native language support in 20 different languages to accelerate language acquisition of emerging and developing English language learners. Currently, 136 elementary sites use Imagine Language and Literacy with 8,095 students rostered. During the 24-25 school year, 98% of students in grades 1 to 5 had active accounts with an overall lesson pass rate of 85%. That is 101, and our General Director for Multilingual Programs, Melissa Morgado, is here if you have any additional questions regarding 101.
Thank you. I need a motion and a second to approve C101. I have a motion by Member Combs and a second by Member Rendon. It appears like Member Gray pulled this item, but I'll wait till she comes back. If any other board members have any questions or comments, if you want to get in the queue. If not, I just have a question, so I'll go ahead. Thank you for meeting with me about this. Your meeting was very, very thorough, as usual, so I appreciate that. But I wanted to kind of talk about and highlight a statistic I asked about and confirm that that was what we have found. Was it correct to say that when I asked you what percentage of our student population have been identified as ELL, the number was 40%, or was I wrong on that?
Yes, that is correct. We have 40% of our students, when you compile the LYs, which are our active students, our LFs, which are still monitoring, and those that have exited the program. Yes, ma'am.
So I appreciate that you are looking for programs and innovative ways to support our teachers to make sure that we're supporting our English language learners. I would just like to, especially to the superintendent, thank you, is to point out what an astonishing number that is, right? That when we're talking about 40% of our student population.
Excuse me, Member Vaughn, it is 40%, 41% is our Hispanic, 20% is our ELL population.
Oh, okay. That's what I was asking.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's good. No, either way, 20%, that's 1/5. So even if it's not 40%, 1/5 of our entire population is an astonishing number. So, I have concerns about what we're doing aside from this agenda item going forward to making sure that we're supporting our ELL students. I've said from the dais several times that looking into the data when we look at our PM testing, our students who seem to be struggling the most on this newest testing, this adaptive testing, are our ELL students across the board. And so seeing that they're struggling when it comes to our PM data, seeing that that is such an alarming rate, 1/5 of our population, what are we doing aside from this agenda item to support our ELL students and prioritize making sure that we're setting them up for success?
Yeah, well, either Mr. Brady, you guys have been working day to day with that work, so please fill in.
Yep. Okay, yes, we created a strategic district plan. And in addition, we just presented to the cabinet this week. We're going to present at the principal meeting in October or November, I should say. And so it's, you know, it is 20% of our current population. Again, as Melissa mentioned, not all active currently, but it is, you know, a big initiative for us.
I appreciate that. So what my point as a school board member is just to indicate that I hope we're giving as much resources, growing that department, focusing on making sure they have the supports that they need to make sure that we're supporting 1/5 of our student population to be successful. So I support this. I appreciate this, but I just want to make sure it doesn't feel like we have a lot of opportunities to talk about that population in general, our ELL students, the alarming rate when it comes to their proficiency on our testing and what that looks like. And I just want to make sure we're keeping that at the forefront when we're talking about 1/5 of our population, that we're setting them up to succeed. So.
We'll do it. Ms. Morgado, maybe we can, you know, in working with Mr. Brady, just updates on how things are going throughout this school year from PM1 on to PM2, and any other updates, just provide them to Mr. Brady and we'll provide them to the board.
Yes, we'll do.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And now we have more in the queue. So, Member Rendon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, as we talk about the fact that 41% of our students that we serve here in Hillsborough County are Hispanic, and like we said, 21% of them are ELL. It's a large portion that we want to make sure we provide the right resources in the right areas. This type of programming is exactly that, because it's not only just working with, it's a combination of immersion and well as English education. So it allows us to continue to move the needle forward, yet not throwing them so far in that they get lost or get frustrated. And so it's critically important we have programs like this. But Superintendent Ayers, I want to reassess the fact and make sure that we talk about this again, that this is one of those examples of making sure all the available funding we have for this, or we're using it for the right places. When we look at the overall funding that's used for ELL, it's not all going into our academic services. It's not going directly into our schools and into our classrooms. And we need to make sure that that money stays where it belongs and it stays exactly where it should be. Because part of this, not only is it federal grant, but it's some title dollars through federal grants, but it's also through state initiatives. And we want to make sure that we have the right resources for this, because every single student is almost double the amount that we get received from state dollars. And so that's extremely important that we make sure that all resources that we're getting from title dollars and from other areas are going directly into this department. Not other departments, but directly into this department that's going directly into classrooms and our teachers. And I think that's one of the things we talk about earlier, we talk about frequently, that we want to make sure that money goes into schools. Excuse me. But we've got to continue to do that and continue to put the money where that we need it to be. And that's why we have things like title dollars, so that we can justify exactly what those title dollars were meant for, and we're utilizing them properly in our district. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Member Gray?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I know, well, first I want to thank Melissa Morgado and Jessica De La Prida, who's not here. She was here before. During our Hispanic forum, which we've met for about 6 years, Melissa Morgado is the chair, and we have been laser focused on the ELL population. And Superintendent Van Ayers, Member Vaughn, and is correct. This is going to make or break our academic success for our grades, state assessments, and even more worrisome, well, I guess we shouldn't be negative, even more concerning is that the tests are not in Spanish, the assessments. So what we have to do as fast as we can, and I know, Morgado, I don't know whether you mentioned to the board yet whether you have level 1, 2, 3, and 4 English language learners. Some of them have a little bit of acquisition. You may want to say that, but nonetheless, when we talk about resources, and I know I've talked to you so many times, Superintendent Van Ayers, that you know this is the ball that we need to keep an eye on and focus. So all this is to say, Melissa, why don't you just share the level differences between level 1 and level 2 and level 3. In other words, their language acquisition. We have different levels of who can read and
Right. So based on the WIDA Access, which is the annual assessment that our students take to monitor language proficiency, they fall in up to 6 categories. We, by the state level, categorize them as what we call LYA, LYB, and LYC. So our LYAs are your entering and emerging learners. That is the bulk of our population, and those are students that that are in their novice level of English proficiency. So as Mr. Brady commented, in our strategic plan for ELL, that is including access to content, rigorous content throughout every grade level and every academics subject. So that is delivered via PD to make sure teachers have the resources and strategies needed to scaffold and make sure that the students have access, especially those that are new in the language. You know, they have a language barrier. They don't have an intellectual barrier. So that is what we're working on and making sure that they have that access to the content in every situation.
Thank you for that information. But the other part, too, if we're going to be bragocious, let's talk, Mr. Brady, when we talked, we are not only giving them access to language skills, and thank you, Tracy Bergman, for your literacy efforts, Tracy, but we're also looking at developing higher level learning skills. Mr. Brady, maybe you might want to say the idea for the curriculum is not just to get the language, but also to build up their skill, their thinking skills, their analysis skills. Would you like to say something?
Absolutely. I mean, it's obviously the more we strengthen their literacy skills, the more they're going to have access to the content. That's going to strengthen our science scores. That's going to strengthen our social studies scores. We had just talked about, you know, it was in relation to the African American Task Force, but we had also talked about the impressive gains that we had made on social studies related to our ELL learners, which was a nice
11%.
Yeah,
if I'm
exactly.
Not mistaken.
Yeah. So obviously the access to the language will bring about access to the content, which is going to make a lot of difference in a lot of ways, obviously for their learning, but certainly to district and school grade as well.
And it's good, too, that you're keeping laser focus on this group, ELL, and you see the board members are very, you know, they're getting, in fact, very focused as well. So we'll keep an eye on it. Member Vaughn, thank you for making a big deal, too, because it is a big deal. So I'm done. Thanks.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Combs?
Thank you, Chair Vaughn. Just a couple things. I know since you're here, Melissa Morgado, first and foremost, I remember this program coming in about 5 or 6 years ago and really delving deep and looking at that. And I am really seeing the needle move. This is a really great program. When you look at different programs, I remember this first coming in and looking at it and going on there and just seeing the needle moving. There's so many students coming, not just from, you know, Latin America, but the Ukraine, Russia, so many different students. And to have this is so important. I remember this summer going into one of your programs, and it was like a whole table full of these students, and they were from all over the world. It was just amazing. And students really need this, and we're really moving the needle with these students. So I just want to thank you for your leadership, Melissa Morgado, and also Jessica De La Prida, Veronica Schmidt. I mean, there's so many of your team members who are working so hard for our ELL population. I just want to say, you know, great job. Keep focusing. I'm really seeing, when you see the needle move and you see the school grades, you are really seeing these ELL students. They are really moving the grade, and they are doing amazing things in such a short period of time. I think they're coming here. They really want a great education. Some of those students are coming from war-torn countries, and they're really coming in here, and they just want some normalcy and to be able to, you know, some of the things that we're doing with the translation, you know, the Ed Connection, when we're being able to translate as the students are learning. There's so many other things that we're doing for the ELL students, but I just think that this is great, and I just want to say, obviously, I'm going to support it, and thank you for everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Combs. All right. If there's no further discussion, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. All right, now we'll move on to 102, Hillsborough County Public Schools Agreement with Youth Guidance Evolve. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this
item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Evolve program is designed as a two-tier intervention, providing small group educator-led circles focused on character development, leadership, and resilience. The Evolve program launched in the 24-25 school year as a pilot program at 8 high school sites: Armwood, Brandon Success, Burnett, Chamberlain, Jennings, Madison, North Tampa Success, and Spoto. Students responded positively, with 98% saying the program helped them feel connected, seen, and valued at school. Also, the students in the program reported noticeable growth in communication, empathy, and problem-solving skills that support academic progress and real-world readiness. And that is item 102. And Julia Sarmiento is here as well if you have any additional questions or follow-up to 102 Evolve.
Thank you very much. I need a motion and a second to approve C-102. I have a motion by Member Rendon and a second by Member Gray. Member Rendon pulled this item. Do you have a question or a comment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. One of the things I wanted to highlight from this particular item is this is one of those examples of our federal dollars at use. A lot of our Title IV dollars are using things like ENVO, in which we are putting direct money and impact into our classrooms. Several of upcoming, we're going to be working with new behavior analysts. We're going to be working with new counselors. We have 3 to 6 different CBAs coming in, working with the DOJ with violence. It's really critical to understand that teachers cannot do their jobs without that outside support, to be able to provide that to students, to be able to have safe and comfortable educational environments for all students to succeed. And this is one of those examples. And that additional support from the federal government under the Title IV dollars is exactly where we should be putting that, directly into the needs of the students, utilizing that for the staff to be able to provide support directly into our classrooms. So I wanted to thank thank the district, thank the administration for looking at ways like ENVO to be able to provide that direct support to our classrooms and to our teachers. I'm excited that we're going to be looking at additional behavior analysts that are going to be working in. I'm excited that we're going to be looking at that whole structure of behavior analysts and our counselors and how all of that can team up together. So thank you so very much.
Thank you, Member Rendon. All right, seeing that there are no further comments or questions, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. We'll now move on to 104, Hillsborough County Public Schools Agreement, Chapter 1, NFP. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. During the 24-25 school year, Chapter 1 NFP provided high-impact, individualized tutoring services to grades K-1, K-1 students at 14 elementary schools. This agreement proposes to expand the Chapter 1 NFP program into grades K through 2 at these selected 14 sites. So it's, again, kindergarten, first grade, now kindergarten through second grade at these same 14 sites. 100% of site administrators that responded to the end-of-year survey strongly agree that high-impact tutoring with Chapter 1 NFP integrated easily into their schools and expressed interest in continuing the program for the 25-26 school year, as well as expanding into the second grade. And this curriculum utilized by Chapter 1 aligns to the UFly Foundation's curriculum that we, as you all are aware, we currently utilize. So that is 104, Chapter 1 NFP, and Tracy Bergman is there if you have any additional questions to Chapter 1 NFP tutoring.
Thank you very much. I need a motion and a second to approve C-104. I have a motion by Member Gray and a second by Member Combs. Member Gray and Member Combs pulled this item. Do you have a question or a comment, Member Gray?
Okay, I've getting a little bit of competition next to me, but at any rate, Ms. Bergman, you are quite what an asset to our district. And I know that the one-on-one tutoring, you know, we go back to that conversation at Melrose, the failure factories long ago, and I know you and I talked about it. And how did they get themselves from a steady F year after year? Well, they did exactly what you're doing with this program. They had a tutor service in the classroom. They had an effective teacher. And as we have in our agenda, we also have a mental health component, which is now also in some of these schools. The point is, all three of these, when you have tutoring, you really have that person designed or knowing completely what that student needs. So I think it's worth saying that this is a great asset to schools that are marginalized, high risk, for students that really have a low reading level. And what do we do with a low reading level? We can teach, but we need a little bit more than that. You know, Ms. Tanner, you're shaking your head yes, because I know you know. And Ms. Bergman, you should make a remark on that. Why do we need tutoring? What's your take on that?
Well, I think it's like what you said, right? Every student gets the core instruction. Every student gets those grade level benchmarks, but some students need a little bit more. They need a little bit more intensity. They need a little bit of acceleration, a little bit of review, and they just need more time to process in order to master the foundational skills in the primary grades. And that's what this program does, is that it provides that one-on-one support, it provides the data collection, and it provides time for students to get instruction and have extra practice in exactly what they need, at the same time freeing up the teacher to continue their core instruction and additional small group for all the students.
I think it's interesting, the parallel tonight, or the analogy is, when we look at 7 mindsets, I'm jumping to another agenda item, which is not 7 mindsets, it's evolve. But when you think about evolve, that's a small group setting, and many students work better in a small group, while the 7 mindsets, and we'll go into that later, is for the whole class. The point is, every single student is now being looked at for the advantages of one-on-one, for the advantages of a group, small group, and the advantages of whole classroom. So I think it's very telling, Superintendent Van Ayers, that your literacy task force, I'll just give you a name, they're doing an excellent job in covering all the avenues to make sure these low-level readers succeed. So thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Combs?
Thank you. You know, when I first was elected, I think in the first 6 months with COVID, I had a tutoring center for 2 different centers for almost 20 years. So I closed it within 6 months. So whenever an item like this comes up, I always really look at it even more closely. So some of the questions I asked you, and I'll just for transparency, I was wondering why it was a sole source instead of it going out to bid, and if you can kind of explain that, because that's one of the questions that I was curious about.
Certainly. When we did put it out as a sole source because Chapter 1 is a nonprofit, has some specific things that are a little bit different than what you get from typical tutoring companies. First of all, they are face-to-face. When you look at most tutoring companies, they do tend to have an online component, and we didn't want virtual tutoring for the kindergarten and first graders and second graders. So we really wanted somebody in the classrooms during the school day. And that was the second part, when some of the other competitors, you know, as you put the sole source in, some say they were only able to provide services either through the parent or through after school contracting individual students. This is a whole class model. So this is also reaching more students through that. And in addition, the other thing that they have is their own program that does align to E5 along with their own assessment piece. A lot of the other tutoring companies, they don't have that. They use materials that the student has to bring or different pieces. So it's not a fit for what we were looking for, which is what made Chapter 1 be the sole source.
Okay. And then the other question is I'm always going to ask about the increase of, and I already asked you, but the increase, why it's such a significant increase for that contract.
And I lost a little novel, but it is because of the expansion into second grade. And so when you add more students, you obviously have to increase the price. So we added about 1,200 more students. And so it does add more classrooms, which this serves the whole class. So it does increase the price. So that price reflection is also an increase of about, when you look across the schools, probably about 40 classrooms or so, give or take, across the 14 sites. So it's an increase of classrooms, an increase of tutors, and an increase of the project management that the company provides.
Okay, and like with any contract, I definitely plan on going out to the schools. Some of the schools I see that are not even in District 1, but definitely in District 1. I want to see an action. I want to see what's happening. Thank you for sending me that data that you sent today. I really looked at all of that. But I'm just, it looks like a great program. I have complete, trust in you and Mr. Brady. I know that you're really looking down. And are these the schools that you identified are the ones that are the highest need, or how did you identify these schools?
Yeah, so these were schools. They weren't, so there's a few things when you implement a program, and last year we implemented this program as part of an outcomes-based contract. And so one of the things is structurally, can they handle the program? Is there somebody on site that can monitor the program, be that contact piece? Do they have some structures in place? Are they facing a lot of newer teachers, et cetera, where it might be uncomfortable to have an Eli in the classroom? The second thing that we looked at was gaps between kindergarten and first grade data and third grade data. And these were the schools that had those standout gaps. They might have higher proficiency in overall in fourth and fifth grade or higher learning gains or even school grade data, but they definitely had the gaps when we looked at kindergarten and first grade, and then where those kids landed in third grade, they were significantly lower than some of the other sites across the district. So they weren't like the bottom 25%, they were that next layer where they had those concerns in terms of their data and where they were.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that, really drilling down, because we do, have additional money for Renaissance or for transformation schools, and we do different things. And I love that you're looking, we have so many schools, over 200 schools, over 250 schools, and really analyzing some of those schools and then providing different, what's the word I'm looking for?
Program. I mean, we're looking at different programs.
Yeah, different program, different pathways at reaching certain students, because not everything is going to work with one school or another. And I think at looking at every individual school specifically and seeing where their needs are and seeing where we can move those students is just really, really important. And I really think this is great, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Combs. Seeing that there's no further questions or comments, please vote when your lights appear. And that motion passes unanimously. All right, we are now going to move to employee and student comment. We will now take employee and student input. Even though we hear public comment at the beginning of the meeting, it's sometimes difficult for employees and students of our district to attend meetings at 4 p.m. There are many ways for employees and students to make their voices heard, including through union representatives, emails, phone calls, and one-on-one conversations, and public comment at the beginning of the meeting. But our board wants to hear from you. With this section of our agenda, we're creating another avenue for employees and students to speak to the board. We're setting aside 30 minutes for employees of the district to speak to the board about any issues that are on your mind. This is not intended to be a discussion about specific agenda items on tonight's agenda, but rather an opportunity for you to speak to the board about any issue related to your job or the district. Each speaker will have 3 minutes, and I now call the first 5 speakers up.
Good evening, everyone. Excuse me. Yeah. Hello, Superintendent. Recently there's a lot of chirping and tweeting and the occasional email that talk poorly about labor unions and what goes on. And as we go into Labor Day weekend, and congratulations on a successful opening of the school year, I feel like it's going smoothly. We will be celebrating Labor Day, and our union is a labor union. I mean, what our teachers and our support professionals do every day is laborious. It's tough. It is physically and mentally exhausting, and certainly at the beginning of the year. So we all herald and celebrate this day. But I thought it would be a good time to kind of point out some of the victories that unions have had in America, and people coming together to fight for what's right. That is patriotism and American history right here. So a couple things that we can celebrate is the 8-hour workday. How amazing is that, right? I mean, the ability that we could actually go home and spend some time with our loved ones and families. We have the 40-hour work week, which is important. Although here in Hillsborough County, our teachers work a 40-hour and 25-minute work week. I'm working on that. Okay. Ending child labor. I think we could all agree that that is a really good thing that's happened back in the Industrial Revolution. Higher wages and benefits. Strange to come back to that one, right? Workplace safety and health. We all want that. We agree with that. Workers' comp is a victory of labor unions in the country. Unemployment benefits as well. Social Security. I mean, I've been paying it since I've been longer than I want to talk about, in the 80s. And then the FMLA, the Family and Medical Leave Act, is an important one. And really the one that we all feel is super important are civil rights. The AFL-CIO, and everyone behind me that's wearing a red shirt is a member of the AFL-CIO, fought voraciously for the Civil Rights Act. So unions have had a very important part of American history in moving and doing what's right for our workers. And coming back to higher wages and benefits, we are in bargaining, and we thank you guys for that. We are motivated to make a deal, and we're hoping that you guys are as well. And what I ask of you in this is that Bargaining is uncomfortable for all of us that are involved. And if you are at a point where you know what you're allocating and you're comfortable with it, I ask you to get a little bit more uncomfortable, because that's what's going to make it work for our workers and our labor. So I truly ask you for that. And, you know, everything we could do to get this settled in September, so that way Superintendent Van Ayers and HCTA President Rob Creek don't have to stand in front of the State Board of Education in October, would be greatly appreciated. So thank you very much, and happy Labor Day.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening, Kimberly Henriquez, Lowry Elementary kindergarten teacher. My prayers were answered. We're sitting with, I have 14 children. It's wonderful. I've got a little guy that's high needs, but we're working on him. He's on a modified day. Our other rooms are sitting at 13, 13, 14, and 14, and 11. So here's the bad news. We know what's probably going to happen. And it just breaks my heart, because in kindergarten, I've been pleading with you guys for the last couple years. Please keep our numbers low, because some of these, the little boy that I have in my room that's on a modified day, kind of like 2, he's never been in school. He's only been to daycare, not VPK. Some other classrooms are sitting with 3 ESC students. Another classroom has 4. We don't have KICS anymore, which is the kindergarten inclusion classroom. So we don't have that. We don't have an extra aide. We have 1 aide for our 6 teachers. Our principal is amazing. She saw the need right away. So she's modified that schedule to help in the classrooms where it's evident we need extra help. I'm just worried about if we do lose the unit. I'm not supposed to say we're going to, because we don't know that yet. But I've been around for 30 plus years. I see the writing on the wall. I'm just very concerned. So I'm just pleading to please just keep the kindergarten classrooms intact, because we're having curriculum night tomorrow. Parents are coming. We're talking about our curriculum. And then what are we going to do? Say, oh, by the way, we're going to have to split a class up. And it just, I don't know. There's got to be a way to fix that. On top of that, I spent the last 2 afternoons using iReady Math diagnostic test. I'm not sure why we're doing this in kindergarten. I think it has something to do with looking with dyscalculia, because that comes from the state. We need 2 data points. I get it. iReady Math diagnostic is not the way to diagnose dyscalculia in kindergarten. It's watching them count, and you can't see that on iReady. So I watched 2 little boys just go click, done, click, done, click, done. The data shows most of them are emerging. Oh, go figure. We're in day 12 of kindergarten. It makes sense. I don't need a diagnostic test to tell me that. So thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening. My name is Patrick Lewicki. I am an economics teacher at Hillsborough High School. I come to you today concerned about the budget and concerned about negotiations. But let's start out on a positive note. I am grateful to wake up each and every morning to work for a school board that understands the needs of teachers. I don't think there's a single member here who feels negatively about the impact that we as teachers are having in the classroom. And for that, I am immensely grateful at your compassion. But when I look at this budget, which, I do, because economics teacher, it's kind of in the curriculum a little bit, I don't see the most compassionate budget. I see a budget that's a little bit thin, not because we're uncompassionate, but because we're scared. Because we are scared that funding is going to get cut in the future. because we're scared that we don't know if we're going to make it as far as funding from the federal government. But folks, we're scared because the buildings that are our public education, that are our institutions, that are democracy, are on fire. And who wouldn't be scared of a fire? It's natural to be scared, to run away from the fire, to make yourself as safe as possible. But the fact is, if nobody stops the fire, the building keeps burning. I wouldn't know what it's like to be a firefighter, but I have to imagine it requires a decent bit of bravery, going in, risking their lives day in and day out to save innocent people and to save those buildings. Our teachers are doing the best we can to be brave in these classrooms to fight these fires of ignorance. And public education funding is the water that can help put out these fires. What the district is doing with this budget is effectively holding back water that we need to fight the fire in hopes that the hydrant will be back up to full tomorrow. I am begging the school board to make the difficult and brave decision. Please do not run away from the fire. Get on your fire gear, join us, turn on the water, and let us fight these fires as hard as we can while we still have water. Because we cannot let these fires continue uncontained, lest our public schools, our institutions, and our democracy burn up in flames. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, Carissa Denica from Gaither High School, and I'm a member of the HCTA bargaining team. I wanted to speak about focus training today, but I feel like I need to address frankly, the audacity of the district's bargaining team at our session yesterday first. When instructional members are released to bargaining, I'm not just going to a meeting. I can't just step away from my classroom. I had to create plans. I had to make sure that everything was ready to go. And I teach AP Calculus and AP Stats. There's no quick worksheets that I can just throw at them that they're ready to go. I can't ask Copilot to go and make me some plans either because it doesn't do math well. I missed another early release Monday and my extra planning time with that. On top of that, I had to arrange childcare because my husband's out of town. I planned everything ahead, even down to making sure that dinner would be ready, be taken care of, if bargaining went late into the evening. And why would I do that? I did it because I thought we were going to bargain. I arrived at 11 when I was supposed to, where the support professional bargaining was still occurring. Instructional was supposed to start at noon. It didn't. At 12:30, the teams broke for lunch and caucus, and when they came back around 1:30, the HCTA instructional offer was given to the district. At 2:40, the district came back and said they weren't able to give an offer and left. Just to clarify, my school was out at 2:30. So they left basically at the same time when I should have been saying goodbye to my students for the day. I made the plans. I rearranged my life, and the district came with nothing. This is not just a waste of time. It's a sign of disrespect for the educators who make the efforts to even be at the table. I hope that on Wednesday when we meet again, our time and efforts will not be ignored. I hope that our time and commitment will be honored. And to be clear, not tomorrow, next Wednesday, right? Because I have 30 seconds, focus training on August 15th, I sent an email to Mr. Ayers asking about what directions were given to principals about in-person training for focus. Right now we have Canvas course that's optional and annual training model that's not due until October 10th. I was just trying to seek clarification. Instead, that email got sent to Matt in charge of focus, and that got sent to my principal, and then that made me get a talking to after. I did not get in trouble, but the point is I was trying to get information, and that information was taken from me.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening. My name's Leslie Adams. I'm a speech language pathologist, and I've been with Hillsborough County now for a little more than 24 years. Our employees are struggling. I mean, this is not new. We're all coming here to talk to you about this. While progress has been made, and we do thank you for that, we're still short of inflation, significantly. Every single one of us is paying more. More for housing, more for utilities, more for car insurance, more for groceries. The last district proposal, which was not yesterday again, actually cuts pay for some of our staff by as much as $3,000, and that was emailed to you. With reduction and elimination of previously provided supplements. In addition, the small amount that was offered to add to each step does not even cover the increase many have experienced in 1 month's electric bill. Think about that. In a time where costs are skyrocketing, the district is offering a plan that would leave employees with less compensation than last year. Our employees cannot be asked to do more with less, especially when we're already struggling to recruit and retain qualified professionals. Pay cuts and inadequate raises harm morale, strain families, force qualified teachers, student services, and staff members to leave for private or contract positions, and ultimately impact students. What about the referendum, the word no one wants to say? That was sold to us as a supplement to our below average incomes. We were promised that it would not impact the district's willingness to continue to improve pay. We're seeing that as a whole different thing as part of the bargaining team. Board members, we need a proposal that moves us forward, not backwards. Our employees deserve wages that reflect their value, their dedication, and the realities they face every day. We ask you to do better for them and for our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening. My name is Rebecca Bohr. I am a teacher at Riverview High School. I teach reading to mostly 9th and 10th, occasionally 11th and 12th. I'm here today to urge the board to accept HCTA's proposals and to speak about my experience as a teacher in our county. Every day I come to work, first thing I do is I check focus for the new students who have been added to my roster, because I have new students added every single day. So I have to adjust seating charts and squeeze in more desks and figure out how maybe make new printing copies of things so that I can accommodate all of my new students as my classes continue to grow. Every day I hear from my students complaints about how they have classes with no teacher in them because there are vacancies. And we're now 3 weeks into school and they don't have a teacher, and we don't know if and when they're going to get a real teacher who is qualified and knows their subject matter and loves their subject matter the way I love teaching reading. It's really hard to go to work and deal with all of these things, especially when we aren't getting paid appropriately. We are in contract negotiations and we're 3 weeks into school. It's 4 weeks that I've been back at work with pre-planning, and we're still negotiating our salaries for this year? That's crazy to me. What other job do you have negotiations and you're deciding what we're going to do, and we're expected to continue to work and to expect to put up with these conditions? I don't understand how I'm expected to keep doing more and more, but I have less. When I look at my paycheck, I can't pay for all the things. My mortgage keeps going up because of housing insurance, and I've got my car payment, I've got my daughter's lessons, I've got different things that I have to take care of. And I need the board to support us teachers and other staff members through salary. I listened to all of the things being presented before it was our opportunity to speak tonight, and I heard about other programs that you're spending money on. And I know that there's different buckets and the money comes from different places and you're allowed to spend it on different things, but we need the money. We need the support. So I'm asking you, please, to support your teachers and staff members and accept HCTA's proposals. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for coming to speak tonight. All right, now we're going to move on to Agenda 302, amend the request for proposals to extend services and include additional school sites provided in with the master service agreement with Progressus? How do you pronounce that? I got it right? Okay, good. Therapy. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this amendment, board members, would result in Progressus Therapy continuing implementation of the IMPACT program by consolidating clinician resources to ensure sustained mental health and behavioral support services. A total of 21 qualified mental health professionals will work at a total of 42 school sites for students in grades K through 12 to provide individualized counseling and behavioral goal planning. All services will be provided 100% in person to targeted students. Schools will be identified based on mental health needs and reporting data. Students are identified through the problem-solving process, and parent consent will be required. This contract includes consultation services with board-certified behavior analysts, BCBAs, and ensures behavioral issues are addressed effectively in the behavior coaching program, which encompasses job-embedded behavior coaching to teachers and staff, and that is the Amendment 302. And Dr. Pickering and Elizabeth Tanner on Tracy Brown's team are here if there's any additional questions regarding 302.
Thank you. I need a motion and a second to approve C302. I have a motion by Member Gray and a second by Member Washington. Member Gray, Member Combs, and I pulled this item. Member Combs, do you have a question on this?
No, I mean, the only question or comment that I had is just that I just know that the mental health team works so hard, and we talk about this really often. You know, it's just really sad that we are so short of therapists and of behavioral specialists that we have to outsource that. But at the end of the day, I say this often, I said this today, you know, you can have great academic gains. If your mental health struggles, then you're not going to thrive in life. If you're, you know, okay, mental health, and you maybe struggle academically, you can still do well in life. So it's really, really important that these supports are in place for our students. I mean, even look at the beginning of the year, we've even had a lot of loss with teachers, and I think mental health is a huge issue in our country and around the world, but it's definitely an issue with our students, and I appreciate all the time and effort our school psychologists, our mental health specialists, our social workers. I mean, there's so many layers to this, and you know, this is necessary. I wish we didn't have to do this. When I get emails often from the psychologists regarding, you know, salaries, it really is very, very hard for me, because I know there's not a person here who doesn't have somebody in their own family, if not somebody that they're close to that's struggling with mental health. So I just want to say thank you for all your work with this. That's it.
Thank you, Member Combs. Member Gray?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Member Combs, for also duplicating some of the remarks. You know, Ms. Tanner, and we did this in 2019, the trauma-based from the National Dropout Prevention Center. We piloted Progress Village. It was very successful. And why is it successful? Because many of our students, more and more now, are experiencing, and I say in present tense, trauma from domestic violence, from food shortages, lack of eyesight, as the Buccaneers pointed out. You know, all of this is, kids are coming to school with trauma, and that's a big burden. And as Member Combs says, when you have mental health issues, any student, especially if you're a teacher, it is hard to teach a lesson. Your conduit of information that you may have prepared for hours. If that child has a mental health hiccup, it's just going to be very, very difficult for that success. So all this is to say, and you know the Children's Board gave, I think it was $500,000 for Frost and Junta Middle School. And that, both cases, those schools, the culture there was huge. It was very commendable in terms of the principals there as well. So, you know, when I know and what I've read here in your agenda item, I'm very much for this. And I want to say a special thanks to you, Ms. Tanner, because you have been in this affective domain for many years. How many years have you been?
This will be my 8th year in the position.
Yeah. And I know you served so well on our Hillsborough Healthy Schools Committee. You never miss a time. I think only once maybe, but you've been a steadfast. I take attendance. No, but anyway, thank you for everything, and thank you for the commitment in a category where a lot of folks don't realize that kids do have trauma, and it needs to be said exactly so. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Rendon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, thank you. Your department works tirelessly for children, and I recognize that, and I do appreciate that. But at the same time, one of the things I really do appreciate about this agenda item is that we are also addressing with educators and giving them some tools. I think that's critically important, that we're just not leaving them in a classroom, not providing them some tools. So I do appreciate that. And although I like this agenda item for what it is and the impact of it is, I'm going to have to, go back to Superintendent Ayers. As we move forward, I'd really like to see, because all of this agenda item comes from our mental health plan that we provided the state of Florida. And so when we bring this to the board and we bring the mental health plan to the board, all of these agenda items should come together. We should see how we're spending all the money, because with this piecemeal, we can't really see all the money that's going into mental health dollars. And we can't see it all collectively together as one piece of the agenda. And so when we've got situations where we're looking at negotiations and we're looking at where money goes, we really need to be able to collaboratively see how that money is collectively done, because there's a collectiveness to that where certain pots of money are flexible. And so we want to make sure that we're not only just meeting the needs of our mental health plan that we've got to report to the state and how we're doing that, and then we're able to question all of the different individuals and how we're spending the money as collectively as a whole. So I would request as we move forward that when we're going to be submitting, because right now we just are like piecemeal, this item this time and that, and it looks good to great today, and then tomorrow that one looks great today, but we should collectively see all the things we're doing to meet the needs of that mental health plan so we can collectively make that decision better.
I understand. I'm going from back of my memory, though. Does the mental health plan, isn't there a budget within the mental health plan that we submit to the state that outlines purchases, if I'm not mistaken? I can't remember.
Yes, sir. We have contracted agencies, so we have a bucket of money that is earmarked specifically for contracts for outside vendors, community agencies to provide mental health services in schools.
So within.
And we list them.
But we do that. Like, we choose that's how we're spending our money. So it's not, but there is flexibility in some of that money. It's not just we've chosen to put it into that how we're doing our mental health plan. So there is still some flexibility that we have the ability to utilize it. So I don't want to, right now we have to meet the needs of that mental health plan that we've approved to send to the state. But after we approve the plan, now they're coming back with the agenda items that are going to meet the needs of the plan. We should collectively see it all as one, not just there's a plan and now you need this item to make sure we've met the needs of the plan that was approved. Well, I shouldn't see the items afterwards. I should look at collectively. I will say with the plan, one of the things we've done with the plan is we've actually increased some of our staff on campus within our schools that are directly hires of our district. I would prefer to do that over again other than this. I don't like going out to contract because we spend more, and I'd rather put the money into our staff hands, and we do need more staff on that, but collectively we should see everything as a whole, and we don't. We just approve the plan, and then we come back with the different individuals, and now we're approving different things individually. So we should see it all collectively as we move forward, because they've used a budget, but there is flexibility in some of that spending, and we should be able to be transparent on that so we can show how it matches and how it meets the needs. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Dr. Hahn?
Thank you. Just a comment, really. I would imagine the reason that we see these agenda items the way we do is because it depends on when the contract expires. So not every contract is expiring at the same time. So you can't bring them all at the same time.
Unless we correct it.
So, well, I think that's a very hard, that you can't go back and amend agenda items or contracts. So, I guess you could present the agenda item with a copy of the plan, and that way we can see, okay, how many have we already seen?
Absolutely. And this amendment is to try to meet that closer to the beginning of the school year deadline.
Yeah.
To have all those contracts come as close to the mental health plan approval as possible. But it's a good plan. We work with our procurement department very closely to ensure that the contracts align with the plan and that they're all at the same time.
And from my understanding, it's very hard for us to hire the BSBAs because of the cost that and they can make more in the private sector. So that's a real challenge for us. You know, I do appreciate this because it does give educators tools, as Member Rendon said. You know, you know, I even think the RBAs, they're hired internally, correct? The RBAs? Yeah. We hire
RBTs.
them.
Yes.
Yes. RBAs, right? Am I saying it wrong?
RBTs?
RBTs, sorry. RBTs are hired internally. They're easier to hire. And then the therapists also, we hire externally. So, you know, we have to make our dollar stretch as best we can. And I think that this contract helps us do that. So I appreciate you bringing it. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Hahn. I'm just going to make a really quick kind of comment because you did spend so much time with me on the phone explaining the complexity of, you know, trying to keep this within our district and what that looks like and what we're facing and what that, you know, what we're up against. I would just like to say, you know, for the record, I would hope that our district and we prioritize everything we can to keep this in our district, and whether that means looking at paying our employees what they're worth, advocating for that on a legislative level when we're talking about mental health dollars to make sure that they're flowing in the right way, whatever it needs so that we're actually keeping people who are, you know, are consistent and in our district, because to see things consistently being outsourced because we can't pay a livable wage or an affordable, you know, salary and be competitive. And at this point, if our, you know, our benefits aren't luring people into working for our district, then, you know, it's something that we need to continually talk about. So I appreciate, you know, the conversation about that. And I just want to kind of echo what we've said so many times here and to our superintendent, we need to prioritize and advocate for, you know, whether it means more accountability in the funding, whether it means more flexibility, whether it means more transparency, doing what it needs to get from the state to make sure that we can have our mental health professionals be employed by our district and have a vested interest in staying in our district and serving our kids. And that's a priority for me. So thank you for all your time. I really appreciate it. And then that's all I have to say on that. So seeing that there's no further questions or comments, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. So thank you. All right, now we'll move on to 704, guaranteed maximum price for the bus loop parking and facade project at Eisenhower Middle School. And Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this board item requires approval of the GMP for the bus loop parking and facade project at Eisenhower Middle School. We propose to provide demolition to the old East Bay bus garage that is no longer in use to allow space for the new bus loop and additional parking for extracurricular events, facade improvements to the front of the school to include a canopy with brick columns and planters to provide a welcoming entry to the main office, and to add window awnings to Building 2 to improve the aesthetics of the front of Eisenhower Middle School. This need is due to the current bus loop not providing enough space to accommodate all buses at Eisenhower Middle. The buses also cause traffic issues on that old Big Bend Road. So that is item 704. Mr. Farkas, anything else you want to add there, sir? Nope. Okay. Madam Chair, that is 704.
Thank you. I need a motion and a second to approve C-704. I have a motion by Member Washington and a second by Member Combs. Member Gray and Member Rendon pulled this item. Member Rendon, do you have a question or a comment? Member Gray, do you have a question or a comment?
One second. I'm doing both things. Mr. Farkas has a comment too, but you know, we talk about education being the great equalizer. And when we start equalizing our school sites for areas of maybe not the most desirability, because Big Bend, as we know, has held traffic up for how many years? 3 to 4 years with all that interstate renovation. It's about driven just anybody crazy. And our wonderful principal, Christian Finch, he's doing such a fine job at Eisenhower. I think what we're doing there is that the facelift, which Mr. Farkas will share, but also making the curriculum, establishing a higher level of learning, which will draw kids from the new development of 4,000 something houses across the street, and there's other developments, but also Apollo Beach, because right now the new K through 8 is abundantly full, and that's a good thing. I don't know how many more portables we can find, and hopefully they don't float away if we have a hurricane. That's another story. But anyway, I think we need to have Eisenhower as strong as we can and make a footprint to draw those students to that school because we have overcrowded situations. Mr. Farkas, can you sell us on what you're doing for this wonderful school?
I'll certainly try, but Mr. Finch does a much better job on that. As you said, anybody that's been on Big Bend Road's had plenty of time to look at Eisenhower because you're usually standing still as you're on that road. We did have a bus garage there. They were also doing construction on the old Big Bend Road, as Mr. Ayers referenced. Now that that's gone, it's clear. So we plan on putting a Chamberlain-like fence in the front that has the brick columns that matches the brick of the Eisenhower building. Some awnings in that front area that has a area right now that is a retention pond that's overgrown. The county's done, so we work with the county to fix that. The old fuel tank, the board approved Villamere, a great construction site now that's up there where all the buses are now repaired. So there's no longer a need for that site right there. So we'll be able to clean up that area, take away the bus repair area in that area, make it a bus loop, which Mr. Finch is very happy about because it provides a little more order to what we're doing. Everyone's not coming in the same place. So overall, it's going to be great just aesthetically and functionally for Eisenhower. In addition to this item, we also have begun some other things that he's asked for on that campus, turf in their main area. We've redone their gym, done some other things too. So piece by piece, we definitely need to bring up the aesthetics of what Eisenhower looks like. We've heard that very strongly from our board repeatedly. So this is one big step, a $4 million investment the board would be making and making sure that Eisenhower takes a huge step forward.
And thank you, Mr. Farkas, for your commitment and really the oversight board too. It's been wonderful how you all work and make sure that these less than popular schools become better havens for our students and more competitive. Mr. Brady, you're into curriculum, and when we talk about education being the great equalizer, then we have to think, what are you doing for this school to be leveling up? Are we adding ACE? Are we adding what amenities are we putting forth in that school for Mr. Finch to be challenged with?
Well, yeah. Is there a specific program that you wanted to? Yeah.
So are we adding some more curriculum status, elevated curriculum? Are we thinking about that?
Not currently, but obviously, it's all on the table. Certainly, if that's something that you would like to discuss, yeah.
Okay, well, it's under discussion. Anyway, we'll get into that later. Sorry.
No.
But that's important as well, in all ways and shapes and forms. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm done.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Rendon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. One of the things that I think that the community doesn't recognize is we are an old school district. We have been around well over 100 years, and Eisenhower, as well as East Bay High School, are one of those schools that have served our community for many, many, many decades. And so I'm very thankful that we're able to provide this refurbishment of the school so that the outside looks like what's happening in the inside. And Mr. Finch is doing a phenomenal job. Kids are getting a great education, and I'm very much appreciative that the community is going to see from an outside point of view what we're doing inside, because we're doing great things. I also would be remiss if I did not put a plug in for our exceptional center at Eisenhower. It does serve so many of our vulnerable population in the South and East County, and it needs attention, so we make sure that we have a safe and healthy environment. And so since it's right in that back door, Eisenhower Exceptional Center, we want to make sure that I at least acknowledge the fact that that is a well-needed upgrade, that we need to do it not only just for the outside aesthetics, but inside, we really want to make sure it's a much more safer and healthy environment for all of our students. And so I would be remiss if I did not mention that. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Rendon. So I appreciate Member Rending making the point of what an old school district we are and how long we've been serving our students. And, I kind of want to piggyback on both Member Rendon and what I believe Member Gray was saying is, as important as it is to, rehab, refurbish, make our schools look as beautiful as we can, because, you know, being around your environment is an inflection of how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your school, cultivates and school pride. And I'm glad that we've been able to, you know, use whatever extra dollars we had to support the school as far as capital outlay. But I do think it's also important that at the same time, we are talking about what's happening in the schools, right? And what programs that we're putting in the schools and prioritizing to be responsive to the communities and to attract our students back to our school district, right? It's got to be a careful balance of using our funds to, one, prioritize the capital buildings of our schools, make sure our air conditionings are working, that our bus loops make sense for parent and drop off. But we also have to work hand in hand. And I know that, you know, that's a priority to make sure that as we invest in our schools, we're looking at programming and, you know, not programs, but programming to support that community, right? And again, be responsive to what they need and make sure all of our kids have an opportunity to access different programs, you know, whatever they may be. So I do want to just say that I appreciate Member Rendon's viewpoint and the questions that Member Gray is asking, that, you know, as much as we put energy into making our schools look beautiful because they need it, we also have to be very thoughtful and specific about what we're putting in to make sure we're responsive to the communities, and that we're giving them program that's going to prepare our students for life, as every speaker who comes to speak loves to point out, that are on our wall. So that's all I have to say about that.
Member Vaughn. Member Vaughn.
Yes.
I did want
Mr.
to
Brady.
follow. I know when Ms. Gray asked me, you were speaking about ACE. Yeah, it is one of our Cambridge secondary sites. So yeah, there's 4 kind of quadrants, and Eisenhower is one of those. That's one of the emerging secondary sites for Cambridge. That leads right into like East Bay, Riverview. So the students, you know, have that ability to take that accelerated coursework. So Eisenhower is one of those sites right now, and obviously, you know, Principal Finch is super excited about that.
Yeah.
He's really embracing it.
Yeah, I figured that because I knew it was out there, but
Well, yeah, when you said ACE, I was thinking, yeah, it's Cambridge is what it's called, but Cambridge ACE is the same thing, yeah.
well, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing that there are no further questions or comments, please vote when your lights are appear. And the motion passes unanimously. We'll now move on to 707, Piggyback Custodial Grounds and Maintenance Services. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this provides ACPS with a site-based program allowing for continuous oversight of all grounds throughout the growing and non-growing season. This provides us with an alternative vendor to provide all mowing, trimming, cleanup, plant and bed care, weeding, mulching, pruning, and leaf removal 36 times each year and more often as needed to keep a neat appearance at our school sites and facilities. And that is the Piggyback 701, which is our custodial grounds and maintenance services 707.
Thank you. I need a motion and a second to approve item C707. I have a motion by Member Washington and a second by Member Rendon. I pulled this item. So my question is, and I asked you this during our agenda review, but I just want to make sure that, you know, we're saying this on the record, that although this says it's a piggyback for our custodial grounds and maintenance, which we're outsourcing through this, we are not outsourcing our custodial staff, that we're still keeping them hired through the district, and that this agenda item doesn't change that at all.
That is 100% accurate. This is only for the mowing program that has been outsourced for the past almost 13 years. So this will continue to only be that. The piggyback contract is one that was from Nashville Public Schools and is one that incorporates all that. We will not be using any of that, only for the mowing program. And I appreciate you asking those questions.
And I hope that with this contract, we have some better service than we did with the previous contracts. Because I know our previous maintenance staff took a lot of pride in their schools and making sure their grounds look good, and we've had some complaints about that since we've outsourced it. So I'm hoping that this provider gives us some better service when it comes to it.
I'm actually glad you brought that up. That is why we chose this provider. Sorry, I'll try to be short. We don't want to put it on the schools, because with the old provider, the school had to go on a form, go into a sheet, fill out what they did wrong. And some schools are great on that. Some schools not so much. This contract that you're approving, actually, they don't have to do that anymore. We check on that. We're able to do that. not have to worry about the grounds. They should be taken care of. It doesn't mean they're perfect. It's still rainy season, things like that. But from my perspective, the number of complaints have dropped considerably. Not perfect, but it has definitely dropped considerably from where we were 2 or 3 years ago, Ms. Vaughn. So we've gotten better. Not perfect, but we'll continue to improve on that.
All right. Well, I'm hoping to continue to hear good things.
Me too.
Thanks so much. All right. Since there are no further questions or comments, please vote when your lights appear. Dr. Hahn. And the motion passes with Member Gray being away from the dais. Now we will move on to 1001, IT Service Management Software. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this is a remote support platform that allows technicians the ability to remotely connect and interact with a computer and a end user. It provides a centralized toolbox to share troubleshooting scripts with all technicians, and it provides efficiencies by saving travel time for help desk and technicians to resolve computer-related issues. So on this agenda item, we have, I know you're all familiar with Scott Gaffner, who's been filling in as Chief Technology Officer over the last couple of months, and I did want to introduce, been working with his first board meeting, our Chief Technology Officer, Mike Geddes. We're very excited to have Mike on the team and what he's bringing to the team. He's been a great addition, working outstanding with not only his team, but our entire cabinet. So excited to have Mike on board, and that is 1001. And Scott and Mike, Mr. Gaffner, Mr. Geddes are here with any additional questions regarding 1001.
Thank you. I need a motion and a second to approve C1001. I have a motion by Member Combs and a second by Member Washington. Member Rendon pulled this item. Do you have any questions or comments?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to make a couple comments. I do want to thank the entire IT staff for the transition into Focus. I know they've been working extra hard as they've been moving into the new school year. I appreciate the time and effort they have taken not only to be working with our staff and that whole transition, making sure that we've got good and accurate data as we move forward. And I think it's very important that we acknowledge all the work that's been done. I also want to make sure that we apologize on behalf of our entire district for the mishap we had last year, and that we are hopefully making this a better transition this year with Focus. And what we took and provided to our staff, what we provided to our families was just unacceptable this year. So I want to thank you all for all the hard work with this transition. I know that's not exactly this agenda item, but it was the only agenda item that affected IT. And so I think we would be remiss if we didn't take the time to acknowledge this transition that's happened with Focus. I would have a little plug that as we move forward, wherever we can, to be able to merge a system so families are more accessible into one system and they don't have to go into multiple systems to get all the information about their child's education would be definitely on the forefront of my request. But as we move forward, I do want to thank all of the staff that have worked extra hard, and we are getting good data. We're getting accurate data. That means our staff are actually able to rely on that data and actually having to not have to do triple and quadruple the amount of work in the system. And so I want to make sure I thank the IT department for all their hard work and the Focus staff for being here every single day to make sure it runs correctly. When I went and met with them, I made it very clear, like, thank God, this is exactly what a new system should look like. So I think it's really important to recognize that we've gone out of our way to make sure this is done right this time. And so thank you very much for all of your efforts in doing that.
All right, nice. Well, thank you. Any other comments or questions? All right, seeing none, please vote. Oh, that wasn't me. That was Mr. Farkas. Please vote when your lights appear. And the motion passes unanimously. We'll now move on to superintendent comments. Mr. Superintendent?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Gaffner. I appreciate that. So board members, my superintendent updates this evening. First slide here is hard. This is our first, there we go. Our first board meeting, and that picture looks better than the one that's on your, yeah, so I was worried about that. I saw the picture and I was like, I hope it's a little better. Yeah. So this is our, this is our first board meeting since the start of school. So I just want to, welcome everybody back. We had an outstanding first couple of weeks, and I was excited to join district leaders and our school board members to stop by some of our schools on the first day to welcome students, families, and our staff back for the new school year. We went a little viral with our welcome back to our staff. Don't worry, I won't. Not singing it. No, it's over. Time has passed. It's done. All right. From what I was able to see firsthand and from what I've heard from our teams, we had a very successful first 2 weeks of school. And I want to just thank our entire team for getting their school sites ready and for truly rolling out the red carpet for our students. And Ms. Rennan just mentioned as well around Focus. You know, I know board members, you had much anticipation of the rollout of Focus and you know, had an opportunity to get out to our Solution Center where I think they're still there. This might be the last week that they're at ISC, but just a tremendous rollout for our Focus team. So thank you to that in our new rollout there. Around academic excellence, so as you all are, so board members, you're aware, ACE always comes in August, so I just wanted to take a few minutes and highlight that. We've seen our AP and IB results, so our school district saw great gains in our accelerated programs this past year. I, of course, updated you on AP and IB, and I have the results from our Cambridge ACE program. So this past spring, we gave 24,500 ACE exams, which is 5,000 more than the previous year. So board members, just around accelerated programs and options, you're familiar with all of our AP and IB, but for 24,500 ACE exams to be given, a 58.95% pass rate, and I think it was a 1.3% increase. Truly incredible. Sickle, Strawberry Crest, and Tampa Bay Tech doubled their number of exams their students took. Newsom and Steinbrenner both quadrupled their number of exams. And in our schools, 351 of our students received their ACE diploma this past May, 219 more than last school year. So that is, so if you look at, we had, I think, 389 IB diplomas that were given, and we're all familiar with what great IB options we have for students, but 389 IB diplomas, 351 ACE diplomas, and I just want to take this opportunity to thank this board. I think it was, I may say this wrong, but 4 or so years back when we, you know, brought forward around Cambridge and bringing that to our school site. So thank you, board members. You see the impact, not only the pass rate, the estimated cost savings that we provide, and you know, when you look at AP offerings, IB, and now ACE, it's truly remarkable what our educators do, what our schools are doing in moving students and earning the key with this ACE and IB. These are Bright Futures scholarships that are awarded regardless of SAT or ACT. Thank you. Lost it there. Score. So I just want to thank our accelerated team, Giselle Linegar Brown, Brian Hoover, for the amazing results we achieved, and of course all of our school-based staff, teachers, and leaders. So I was actually out this morning with the over at Temple Terrace with the Helios. The head CEO of Helios was out to talk about our Tele program. This is a partnership between the Hillsborough Education Foundation, us, and Helios, launched to address longstanding early literacy disparities. Tele is a targeted, data-driven effort to increase kindergarten readiness and ultimately their third grade reading proficiency at 14 Title I elementary schools, serving predominantly low-income Black and Hispanic students. And just thanks to Shay McCrae, who was integral with working with the foundation, Helios, in getting this going. We've seen tremendous results. You guys have seen the results with our with UFly. So what this Tele does is it's really around job-embedded coaching for teachers, around UFly, professional learning community, strategic family engagement, and school leadership engagement. And from these efforts, we've recently received some great results from that initiatives, from the work over the past 3 years. Kindergarten proficiency rose from the 9th percentile to the 42nd percentile in those 14 schools. So I want to make sure to say that again. In those 14 schools were Tele, where, remember, we have the Frog Street, which is the pre-K curriculum, and the kindergarten, we utilize UFly. So again, to Shay, Tracy Bergman, the entire team, these 14 schools started at 9% kindergarten proficiency, 9th percentile to 42. Really incredible. And pre-K proficiency went from 12th to the 44th percentile. Every participating school reported improved student attendance due to the family-centered incentives funded by the Hillsborough Education Foundation. So I just wanted to acknowledge Helia was there this morning at Temple Terrace. They were actually interviewing Maria Ortiz, who was our formal, instructional support employee of the year. So just tremendous results. So Tracy Brown, you and your team from Frog Street, aligning of that curriculum. That's the work of Tracy Brown's team, Gary Brady's team, and that alignment. So thank you to our entire team. Shay, thank you for bringing that forward with just tremendous results. And on August 15th, USF celebrated the next generation of STEM teacher leaders through the Noyce Master Teaching Fellowship. And The Noyce Master Teaching Fellows Program is a remarkable partnership between USF and Hillsborough County Public Schools funded by the National Science Foundation. This program equips educators with advanced knowledge in mechatronics and engineering design that are transforming how STEM is taught in our middle and high schools. USF that day celebrated 10 HCPS teachers from the 2024 cohort for completing the Professional Development Series in Mechatronic Principles and earning their Masters of Education in Curriculum and Instruction from US this summer. And I think Ms. Vaughn, you were there, right? And Ms. Combs, you were there? You were both there. So thank you, board members, for your support. Oh, Member N was there as well? Oh, there she is. I see you giving the bull sign. There you are. So to USF and the National Science Foundation, thank you for your commitment to empowering our teachers through them and our students. And finally, Thrive by Five, we were nominated as a Family Friendly Business Award. We actually were just notified we received the Gold Award. So I just want to thank our HR and communications team for submitting this for our recognition. So we'll hear more about this. It was just announced that we were Thrive by Five, Family Friendly Tampa Bay. And again, thank you to Dr. Patton, Tracy Brown. I know you've done tremendous work, and you and Emily work with Thrive by Five, so thank you for everything. But on the HR side, we were just awarded the gold winning there. And lastly, just a reminder that this coming weekend is Labor Day, which means no school on Monday, September the 1st. I hope everyone enjoys the long weekend. And those are my updates.
All right. Thank you, Superintendent. We'll now move on to board member comments. Board members, just a reminder that you have 5 minutes each to speak with 30 seconds for final thoughts. And Member Gray, you're first in queue.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And in the spirit of school site success, educational success, not yet, Pablo, the Black history progress in U.S. history achievement levels was magnificent. In 2024 to spring 2025, a 12% increase on state assessment tests. Now, why and how was that done? Over 189 schools participated in the HAPC Brain Bowl, preparing for diverse leaders and Black history. And in conjunction, and that's led by Dr. Andrea Beverly, who's the chair. In conjunction, we have Allison Edgecombe, who's been working for the last 3 years. She now has put together 51 Thurgood Marshall clubs. But all this is to say, and Black History Month, there's a tremendous population of students who are very actively involved in a competition that's district-wide, and I do believe we may go into the statewide contest. So that's coming up. Actually, we're going to talk about it tomorrow. Mr. Young, you may want to participate in the Black History Committee and shake that we may go to the state, so on the Brain Bowl. So that's tomorrow's meeting. And thanking Marie Rogers and Kelly Brennan and their wonderful social studies team. So great progress in many areas, but I wanted to mention that. Pablo, do we have that photo on Jessica De La Prida? No, okay, we'll stay there because I've got that, and then we'll go to the next one. We want to thank all the partners, and I mean, there's hundreds of partners. We're going back to the Back to School, which wasn't that long ago, but the Brandon Riverview Chamber of Commerce we want to thank, so generous with gifts and needed gifts for all the teachers. Now, shown on the bottom, Beavis Elementary, reason is I highlighted them. This is from the Valrico Chamber of Commerce at Bloomingdale, because my granddaughters go there, and there's all those wonderful teachers who take good care of all the kids at Beavis. But thanking again the Valrico Chamber of Commerce. Also, the Parent Magazine gave over 5,000 backpacks at the backpack giveaway at West Shore. And obviously, you all know that the Bullitt Foundation gave, I think, around 15,000 backpacks. Now, I didn't go to this one because I had another event. But anyway, a lot of generous partners who welcome our teachers, think the world of our public education, and are willing to step up and contribute to all of our wonderful, hardworking teachers. Next, let's see, Pablo, do you have the Hispanic Okay, now this, okay, no, that's not, oh, you know what, this is the transportation. I believe this is the transportation Mecca big meeting, and this was a lot of these hardworking bus drivers, point of service, and Superintendent Van Ness, is this the bus drivers or is this the other one? We had bus drivers. Yeah, we had two things going on too, but this was huge. You know, we are also, every time we see a bus, we're reminded that who's in that bus driving? It's a bus driver that cares for our kids and really sets the tone for the day. And we definitely appreciate our bus drivers. So, and Laura Hill, you are the superstar. And they could not, they held on to every word that you said of motivation and how they are so important to the welfare and well-being of our children. So thank you, Ms. Hill. Next photo. This was at Hill Middle School, and I know Member Vaughn was there, Member Jones was there, Member Rendon. Yeah, I tried to take some photos. Another back to school, wonderful, and this was given by the CABA, Carrollwood Area Business Association, and they also gave thousands of great goods and food and everything else to the teachers, and you can see that the Ben Hill Band and the chorus. Okay. And finally, we want to recognize Jessica De La Prida, now in charge of the ELL, 26,000 English language learners, but she's going to get a lot of awards, the 2025 Hispanic Advocacy Award. Superintendent Van Ayers, you should be very proud of her. She's got a lot of pressure, but she loves it, and she'll do a wonderful job for you and for the board. Thank you all.
Thank you, Member Gray. Dr. Hahn?
Thank you, Member Vaughn. So I just want to comment on some of the gains that you presented. Congratulations. You know, these are, incredible gains that we made in the accelerated programs. And just opens the door for our students to so many different types of opportunities. So that's definitely something to highlight out in our community. I want to thank Helios for supporting the U-Fly coaching, the TELE program. And, just remind people, first of all, the kindergarten and pre-K results are fantastic, so congratulations. And let me just remind everybody what a heavy lift kindergarten is for us, because we only serve 12% approximately of the VPK population. And we know from the data that about 51% of students are not kindergarten ready. They're not kindergarten ready, but they're coming into our schools in kindergarten. They've never set foot in our schools until kindergarten. And so that's why it's such a heavy lift for us in kindergarten, because we don't have control over half of the, 80+% of the students in our community that are in VPK. So it gives us a really short runway to kind of get kids caught up. We have students that come to us and they're not proficient in their alphabet or counting. They can't count, they can't identify numbers or identify letters when they enter kindergarten. Not from our pre-K programs, but, not all are built equal, and that's the truth. And so I think that's why, continuing to do communities of practice and partnering with the ELC to do those communities of practice. And when I say that, that means that, we have the teachers from the private VPKs getting professional development right alongside our school VPK teachers. So everybody kind of understands what skills need to be taught to prepare kids to be kindergarten ready. And so congratulations on these numbers. Again, that's a big lift for you all, and it's been phenomenal. That's just, makes my heart happy. So thank you for all your hard work. And thanks to my board members for all the resources that they support at this dais that helps us reach those gains. So one last thing, in the 25-26 U.S. News and World Report rankings, we had quite a few high schools that were in the top 200. And I'm just going to go through them. Plant, Newsom, Steinbrenner, Robinson, Sickles, Strawberry Crest, Tampa Bay Tech, Bloomingdale, Alonso, Riverview, and Middleton, all in the top 200. And, you know, kudos, congratulations. What a great job every one of our employees is doing each and every day. And you can see the proof of all their hard work. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hahn. Member Washington?
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I want to start off. Pablo, you have the first film up there, please, the projector. Okay, first I want to thank VCU and the PWC for their contribution to Hillsborough County Public School System with over 500 book bags. I had an opportunity to address about maybe 200 or 300 of the employees to thank them for all that they do for Hillsborough County. And it was unique this year because everybody pitched in, and the principals came to pick up their own gifts. Years past, we went out to the schools, but now we have the principals to come and pick them up. I tell you what, it was great. It was great. Everybody was happy. I mean, the kids, we didn't have any kids there, but they were ready to go for the kids. I mean, and I really thank PWC and Miss Tanya Cross for doing that. And she always participates in Hillsborough County, always, for years. Moving along there, we have the Back to School clinic with Miss Young with the links. She was there. I think, Miss Young, you out there now? Raise your hand. Okay, thank you. Thank you for all that you do for Hillsborough County. Couple of notes here. You know, the total student survey, 1,025 students received services. And you've been doing that for over 20-some years, as I understand. That's a long time. We thank you for all that you do for Hillsborough County, for the students in Hillsborough County, getting them back to school. And a couple of taxpayers, you saved them money by providing 1,025 students with free school physicals. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Moving along there, then we had the opportunity to go to Kinley with the superintendent, Mr. Marcus Murillo, and I think the chief came. We had a great time, and we gave them some very good props because they did a great job. They did a fantastic job, and they were very happy. But I tell you, I got caught up those superintendent because now I owe my barbecue. I mean, this girl, I don't know where she came from. She said, you know, you came out here 2 years ago and you promised some barbecue. I said, I did? She said, yes. So I'm going to have to take them some barbecue from Big John Barbecue. Yes, I will. I will. And you can see the young lady there. You can see her. She reminded me, she went to school with my daughter, and she said, Mr. Washington, you know, you was out here 2 years ago. And she goes, and you were supposed to bring us some barbecue. I said, oh, really? I said, I forgot it. She said, no, you're supposed to bring some barbecue, so I'm going to take them some. I really am. Moving along the next slide. Moving along the next slide, we had a great time at Blake, Howard W. Blake. Now, I'm going to tell you, those students were so excited for that new principals that day. They were walking up, introducing themselves to the principal. And I mean, and that's phenomenal because, you know, we had some people out there, you know, we see Rob with Mr. Johnson and then we had Pansy and Ross, and we took pictures with the football team. You know, we had the football players there, and it was great. It was great. This is what a school should look like. You should have that motivation. The first day, you should be happy to see your principal. I mean, if you're not, something wrong. And they were there. They were, you know, asking them questions, and it wasn't no fake. It was all the real deal. And I feel Mr. Johnson is going to do a great job at Howard W. Blake. You know, because he's motivated, he's young, his kids goes there. Yeah, they're going to Blake. And plus he was in the band. He was in the band for Jackson State. That's right. So he has that talent. So his kid is in the band. So I mean, I'm very excited to see the good things that's going to happen at Blake. And plus, public should be open pretty soon. Yeah, it should be open. So anyway, thank you. And we had a great comeback. We had a great opening of a school this year. Fantastic opening. People were motivated, and I was very proud of it. Thank you so much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Washington. Member Combs?
Thank you, Chair Gray. I had to lean over to Member Gray and say, is it the second or third week? It's just such a blur, because I will say, by the end of that first week on Friday, I was just exhausted. I think everyone felt like it was the first time in a long time that we'd had such a long first week. But I will say it was such a successful week. It was, since I've been here on the board for 5 years, I thought it was the strongest beginning, where there was great communication. I just want to thank everyone, superintendent, your cabinet, everyone, all the teachers, our bus drivers. I mean, everyone worked so hard to have such a great launch. I also want to thank Focus, because that's so huge, being able to go to the ISC, and thank you, Matt Hoff, Ben Steed, which I know he's gonna like that, but and the entire tech team and Focus. I mean, just amazing going in there and seeing how many problems they have and resolving it, and really looking at a vision that they have for the future. I really feel very confident and about the future. Last meeting, I can't remember which board member said something about our budget has increased, but our enrollment or whatever has stayed the same. And, I started looking at that and thinking about that. It's like, yeah, every single contract has increased by 25 to 50%. I would hope that the budget increased. South County, we need so many buildings, but we still aren't getting the money. And to me, to see our TICO bill has gone up $6 to $8 million after we changed the LED lights. So I asked Mr. Farkas, because I know my electric bill has doubled. I was like, what about the school district? The one thing that hasn't doubled is the amount of funding that we get from the State of Education, Department of Education. To see a 0.78 increase, 0.78, not even 1%, is ridiculous, and I would love to see our teachers, who are really such heroes, also get bonuses one day. I'd love to see bonuses happen for our educators, because at the end of the day, if we don't have a great educational system, then we're not going to have doctors, lawyers, firefighters, any of that. So 0.78, just think about that. And when people come up and are talking about funding, I often say it's not really a local issue, it's a state issue. 0.78. That's not even the increase of cost of living, less than 1%. And not only that, we received $500,000 less. Our needs are higher, everything is more expensive, but we're not receiving that. Inside our schools, I'm amazed at the things that we do with the lack of funding. Every time when we walk into schools, superintendent, we went yesterday to a couple of schools. It's amazing the quality of instruction that's happening, the quality of everything that we're doing with such a limited budget. When we see a lower enrollment, there's multiple factors. But the one thing that we need to continue doing is continuing to strengthen our schools, bring the teachers in, do all the things that we need to do, support our educators, and also just making sure that any child that comes, we don't want to turn away parents when they come in. We want to make sure the front office, that is the first, we have to change our perspective. We have to run like we are a business. At the end of the day, parents have so many choices nowadays. They have choices of charter, they have choices of private schools, they have choices of homeschool, they can go down to their church and there's schools there, there's micro schools everywhere. And Hillsborough County Public Schools, we have to make sure that when parents come in, that our front office staff, which is amazing, greets them. Our security guards greet people. We have to go above and beyond, making sure that what they see, their first moment of their experience, continues, and that parents aren't turned away. If there's a problem with paperwork, that we make sure that we follow up. So I think it's really, really important that we're looking at the enrollment, and that's why, Superintendent, I talked to you a little bit about this, and I haven't mentioned it to the board. One of the things that I'd love to see in the future is when there are schools with large number of students. It's hard for me to understand if you have a principal who has 200 students, and then you have a principal who leads 1,200 students at the same level, and they're doing so many more, observations, dealing with so many parents. We need to have some type of incentive, some type of bonus for those schools. I think that's something we really need to look at. I also would like to look at some principals who maybe came from outside the district that are not getting the credit for that. We want to make sure that our principals know they are at the core of the school. They are the most important thing. I say this all the time. Nobody knows who I am, right? But people know who they see every day as a principal. They might not know you because they might only see you once a year, but they're seeing that principal every day. So thank you, and I hope everyone has a great year.
Thank you, Member Combs. Member Rendon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to give a huge shout out to all of our teachers and our staff that have come back, done an amazing job our first 3 weeks of school. I ran into Sheriff Chronister the first week of school, and we both looked at each other and went, great first week. Like, it was just, without a doubt, one of the best weeks we've had. And so law enforcement feels it, we feel it. We just cannot thank you enough. I want to remind all of our public to be mindful of all of our buses as you are commuting back and forth. When a bus's lights go on that they're going to stop, that means you slow down and stop. Please keep in mind the safety of our students are paramount. Please keep in mind there are also cameras that we are not being run by Hillsborough County Schools, but that in our school zones, and we want to make sure that absolutely all of our students are safe. I want to give a big shout out to Bloomingdale High School, who was named the Athletic Program of the Year. So we are super excited for the 24-25 school year. They were honored for that accommodation, so that was wonderful. Also want to give a shout out to all of our high schools that made the World News and Report. That is not just for our high schools, but that is all of our elementary, middle schools, K-8s that have all built into that. It doesn't just start at the high school level. It starts at kindergarten on, and every one of those teachers that have fed into all of our schools play a role in our graduation rates, play a role in when our high schools are acknowledged for the great success that they are. They couldn't do what they do without our elementary schools, our middle schools, and our K-8s. So thank you to all of our staff for elevating Hillsborough County. Also want to give a huge shout out to all of the communities throughout Hillsborough County, whether it's the various chamber events, whether it's the business community, our churches. All of them have stepped up to be there for our students, making sure our schools have the supplies, our teachers are acknowledged, and each and every one of them have had a great start to the school year. It's an honor for us to be acknowledged when we go there and to be able to thank our teachers for stepping up, thank them for showing up for our students. It is their work that allow us to do what we do. And so every single day, our teachers and our staff at each of our schools need to be prioritized. I want to thank our bus drivers, our custodial staff, our food service workers, all of our security staff. Every single person plays a vital role into the success of our schools. It is not just one, but all of them collectively that directly are related to our schools that make our schools successful. So here's to a great 25-26 school year. Thank you, each and every one of you, for what you do every single day.
Thank you, Member Rendon. I appreciate it. All right, I am going to try to get through this quick because I have a lot of stuff to cover, and I know everybody's ready to go home. So where's the clock? Is it started? All right, here we go. First of all, I want to concur. It has just been a great back to school opening, going to all the different schools the first day and seeing everybody jumping in and so prepared to do whatever it takes to meet our kids. I mean, nothing is more inspiring than that. So I appreciate every single person's hard work in kind of coming out of the summer and getting back to doing what we need to do for our students. I also want to thank the superintendent for talking about our NOICE Fellows from USF, which is a partnership where our STEM teachers go through extra rigorous training to get their master's degree while they're STEM leaders at their school. The first 10 fellows had just graduated, and now we've inducted 10 more fellows, so I really appreciate that partnership with USF and the Mystique grant. So thank you for highlighting that. Unfortunately, I also have to take a time to kind of talk about some tragedy we've had specifically within my community. Some of our principals and teachers have lost their husbands, so I just want to offer our love and support. The principal at Temple Terrace, her unfortunately lost her husband, and that just watching communities kind of come together around loss has been, inspiring amidst all the loss. But we did lose an assistant principal at Lutz K-8. Unfortunately, a few weeks ago, he passed away. He's survived by his wife, Janet, who's a mentor for our district, and his son, Lincoln, who is a senior at Hillsborough High School IB program. Andy Altwood served for 20 years in the Hillsborough County Public Schools. He was the director of basketball operations at the University of South Florida. He was the girls basketball coach at Gaither High School. He served as an assistant principal for Benito Schools prior to his 5-year tenure at Lutz K-8. One of his legacies is that he assisted in the establishing the flourishing middle school program at K-8. He played a pivotal role in ensuring the success of the entire school family and culture. He will be remembered for his dedication to student success, support for students, staff, and families, and was a beloved colleague. Mr. Allwood will truly be missed by his students of K-8 and those who relied on him as a trusted and respected administrator. Please keep the Lutz K-8 family as well as the Allwood family in your thoughts and prayers. I hate to talk about the loss. And then the last thing, before we adjourn tonight, I just want to take a moment to address something that's been weighing heavily on many of us, both in the boardroom and across our community. We're living in a time when the autonomy of local school boards is increasingly challenged and under pressure. Decisions that once rested in the hands of local educators and elected officials, people who know our schools, our students, and our unique challenges, are now too often being dictated from the top down. That kind of overreach undermines our ability to meet the needs of our district in real, responsive, and meaningful ways. Let me be clear, local control matters. It matters because no one understands our classrooms like the teachers who works in them, the parents who trust them, and the students who learn in them. And it matters because our public schools are not political pawns. They're community institutions built on trust, hard work, and shared responsibility. Part of that responsibility is ensuring that everyone who works in and around our schools, our teachers, our custodians, our bus drivers, our cafeteria staff, aides and administrators, earns a livable wage. It's not radical to say that people who dedicate their lives to serving our children should not have to work 2 or 3 jobs to get by. Supporting our schools means more than just budgets and policies. It means standing up for the people who make education possible every single day. It means fighting for the resources that our students deserve. We must not forget who we serve. We serve our students, our families, our educators, and the future of this community, not politics, not special interests, and certainly not those who seek to divide us. And that's all I have to say about that. So thank you very much. I appreciate everyone's hard work. Excited about the next school year, and this meeting's adjourned.